That's what All-Star Construction is all about.
You matter. Your mental health matters, and you're braver than you think. Not Alone is an organization focused on creating a space of acceptance and support through tough, meaningful conversation. Use code 1440 for 15% off at notaloneco.com. It's okay to not be okay.
Legacy Heating and Cooling offers no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. So, when you wake up to no heat, call Legacy. Call Legacy. If you need it immediately,
Blue shirt. McDavid. Blue shirt shoots wide. Caught in between. McDavid. No payments and no interest for 1 year. 3 points for Adebayo. He will come out of the game and hear it from the crowd. And we feel you at home.
Let's save a bundle by bundling. Then you can use hot, cold, hot, cold. Come on, thermostat, do what you're told. Turn up the heat, turn up the cold to the vent, start pushing out cold.
Oh, McDavid. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins upstairs over Mackenzie Blackwood. And Edmonton scores off the rush.
Elevate this up for 1 year. That's how you build your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
A pizza from Papa John's is already pretty great, but you know what's even better? 2 pizzas from Papa John's. For a limited time, get a medium one-topping pizza for only regular menu price. Whether you're feeding your family, your team, or yourself, get your next meal from your locally owned and operated Papa John's with a $6 one-top medium when you order any large specialty at regular menu price. Bettering
for 3. McDavid, the go-ahead goal.
For over 60 years, the folks at Diablo Boots have been selling the best Canadian-made boots, handcrafted in Winnipeg.
Blue shirt. It's wide.
With replaceable soles and heels. Why buy cheaper quality like Ariat, Justin, and Red Wing made in China when Canadian-made is better? Support Canada's workers and Diablo Boots for the best boots. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Canada West and Diablo Boots, the 2 best names in the boots business.
The Jason Gregor Show. On Sports 1440.
In between what he wanted to do for himself. Left corner. 4-3. McDavid, the go-ahead goal.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
83 points for Adebayo. He will come out of the game and hear it from the crowd. And we feel you at home.
Wednesday afternoon. How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show. Live on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining the show. We got a loaded show for you today. Of course, it's always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, where the OG tonight, Lotto 649. Ooh. The Reggie Jackson, the Chris Pronger of lotteries, 44 million. Tonight, get your tickets at playalberta.ca. And man, we got lots to talk about. You had something happen last night in the NBA that has never happened since 1963, when Wilt Chamberlain scored 100 points. Crazy. A guy scored 83. Kobe had 81. But Bam scored 83 last night. And you know what? The only thing that was disappointing is the amount, and I want to call it petty, complaining losers on social media who like, yeah, but he did this and oh, they fouled. It's like they don't know. You don't think that, go back and look at what happened when Wilt had his 100 points. Yes, his team fouled the other team, so they'd get the ball back. It's not a new strategy. And also, don't say the Wizards, just gave him everything. The Wizards were triple teaming him in the backfield. They did not want him to score late. He only scored 21 points in the third quarter, the fewest of any of those three guys who have scored 80 points. So he had, now, Wilt had 31, so he had 69 through the first three quarters, and Bam had 62. Kobe scored 28 against the Raptors. It was a blowout game. He scored. No other teammate took a shot or scored any points in the last 7 minutes of that game. And you're telling me that was more authentic? Like, all the diehard Kobe fans, like, if we're going to talk authentic, like, let's be real here. Okay? Stop. It's an unreal performance, man. It's unreal. You know how hard it is to score 83 points? Fantastic. So we'll touch on that. And kind of like it's like Sam Gagner when he scored 8. That's kind of what I equated to. Right? 10 points is 100 points in the NBA. Daryl Sittler owns the NHL record at 10 points. It's 100 points. It's basically the same. Right? That's what it is. Now, and that probably might even be a little as generous, because how many guys in the NBA average 20 points a year? Nobody averages 2 points a game in the NHL. Right? Well, Gretzky did it for a while, but not many guys, like every time. So even that is probably not a fair, equal across the board comparison. But when you look at it, 100 points, 10 points, it's kind of the same. And it would be like Sam Gagner scoring 8 points for the Edmonton Oilers. You didn't expect it, but you loved it. Right? No one thought Sam Gagner was going to be an 8-point guy, but he did it. So it's kind of what I equated to. So I look at it last night, man. Who knows the next time you're going to see it? And I know people, yeah, but look at how many free throws. This guy averages about 4.5 free throw attempts in a game. And now he's got to shoot 43, and he made 36 of them? Come on now. He's not used to doing that. And by the way, go back and look at how many shot attempts Kobe Bryant had in that game if you want to get on your soapbox about how this one suddenly wasn't as important. Give me a break. Like, take off your pajama pom-poms. Oh, Kobe. Like, it sounds terrible. So, either way, that's exciting. The Edmonton Oilers game, pretty darn exciting. That wasn't a great start. Colorado scores first shift. How many of you were like, oh my God, this is going to be a tough game? Well, the Oilers bounce back. They score a power play goal. It's 1-1. Then Colorado scores 2-1. Jack Roslovic gets a massive goal late in the second period. Nice pass from Draisaitl. Great finish from Roslovic. It's 2-2. And the Oilers, after that, they didn't look back. They go up 3-2. Colorado ties it. They go back up on a great give and go from McDavid to Draisaitl, back to McDavid. Top of the net. Clearly, that was a little bit of the scouting report. Look at Nugent Hopkins' first goal. You look at Roslovic's goal. You look at McDavid's goal. Even Nugent's second goal. They want to go upstairs, and they did. They played well. They went into Colorado. They played well. Now, I know a lot of the storyline was the major penalty for goalie interference on Nathan MacKinnon. I watched that play over and over. Was I a little surprised they called it a major on review? A little, but I wasn't shocked. Right? Like, and here's this. Anybody in the game of hockey who tries to show a video of a play, who tries to use a still shot, they don't have a strong point, because still shots don't reflect what happened. It's an embarrassing attempt. You can go back and you watch that play. Look at where Connor Ingram was in his crease, and look at where Nathan MacKinnon was before any contact. His skates were in the crease, at the middle of the crease, not the top of the crease, the middle of the crease. And we'll never know if he would have made contact or not. Darnell Nurse wasn't even looking at him. He's just trying to get back. But it's a pretty aggressive lane for MacKinnon to take. That's like people trying to say that's not a penalty. Like, my God, who in the right mind? Like, and I love, he didn't intend to injure him. Here's the easiest way I will say why I don't love the word intent. First of all, you don't know what they're thinking. Second of all, if I go to lift Connor Halley's stick and I lift his stick and I miss it and I hit him in the face, was my intent to hit him in the face? No, my intent was to lift his stick, but I missed it. And now I get a double minor. The double minor isn't, well, he didn't mean to hit him in the face. No, it's a double minor. You draw blood, it's a double minor. End of discussion. Intent's irrelevant to the conversation. I don't know what he was intending. All I know is he was coming in very fast. I love how he plays. And again, I was a little surprised because it's McKinnon. I didn't think they'd kick him out. But you know it's a high-level collision when the goalie's getting a pressure cut from his mask in the middle of his forehead. That's a pressure cut. Like, that's a lot of force. So I can understand why the Colorado Avalanche and the Oilers both feel like they had an argument. But anybody claiming it wasn't a penalty at minimum, like, I can't listen to that. If you want to debate that it wasn't a major, I could actually listen to that. I think there's probably some validity to it. But I also could see why they come up with a 5-minute major. That's one that's really comes down to discretion, right? Every rule book, it's the discretion of the officials. They reviewed it. They decided it was a major. People can disagree, and that's fine. It's a tough call. But make no mistake, if it's the other way around, people are screaming for a major. Don't kid yourself. And that's where I have a problem with the one side who wants to jump up and yell up and down, that's a major, it's brutal. But then when their player does it, no, it's not that bad. Just be consistent. To me, it's a minor penalty all day long, and I can understand why they give it a major. I don't think it was a clear-cut, obvious, guaranteed major, but I see why it was a major. That was a massive collision. Yes, Darnell Nurse touched him, but Darnell Nurse didn't catapult him in. There was some contact. Nathan McKinnon's taken much heavier contact in the game and kept his line of where he's going down the boards numerous times. So, it's a little bit of a break for the Oilers. Now, their power play actually stunk on that 5-minute major, right? Like, it was brutal to start the third period. Awful. Like that, well, I shouldn't say awful. The Draisaitl had the one really good chance. Well, actually missed the net on the one, and then he had another decent chance. It wasn't awful, but the Oilers, though, they got that other power play. Man, that was a sweet goal. Like, you watch McDavid, no hesitation, spin, and then look at Draisaitl. Takes the pass off his skate, right to his stick, right on the tape. McDavid, boom, goal. So that's a huge win for the Oilers because they keep pace with the Ducks. They are now ahead of Vegas in the standings because of the tiebreaker. They played the same amount of games. They each have 72 points, or is it 74? I can't remember. I should know this. 72 points. And the Oilers have 3 more regulation wins. So, pretty comfortable if there's a tiebreak there. But they kept pace with the Anaheim Ducks, who went into Winnipeg. The Winnipeg Jets, who we talked about yesterday, pretty slim playoff hopes. They're at home against the Ducks, and they lose 4-1 and get outshot 35-13. Like, that was a dominating performance from the Ducks, man. And give Anaheim credit. And the Ducks, their advantage is this month, they don't have a ton of games against top teams. So the Oilers are going to have to they're going to have to play better, right? And they're capable of it. This is now it's a travel day today, and they now take on Dallas tomorrow. Real tough test. We all know it. And we'll see. Meanwhile, Anaheim continues the road trip. They go to Toronto, who's terrible right now. And then they're into Ottawa and Montreal. Those will be tougher games on Saturday and Sunday. Meanwhile, the Oilers are in Dallas and then St. Louis, and then they come home and they got Nashville and San Jose and Florida. Teams below them in the standings, teams that you got to take advantage of, no question. So the Ducks, though, they've got Montreal and Ottawa as teams that are in the playoffs or right in the playoff hunt. Utah, Edmonton. That's it. And Buffalo this month. Meanwhile, the Oilers have Dallas. They got Tampa. San Jose's in the mix. Utah, Vegas. Then they face Anaheim later. That'll be a huge game. So Edmonton's got to stay close until the 28th of March. And that's when they face the Ducks. And because the way Anaheim's playing right now, Vegas, I think it comes down to Edmonton and Anaheim for first or second in the Pacific Division. Vegas has been struggling for a while. And yeah, I think they really miss Mark Stone. He's the emotional leader of that team, and they definitely miss him. So 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Conman, what'd you make of Bam?
Thought it was incredible. Anytime a player is into that area, like, north of 60 points, you start to tune in, especially the time frame in the game. Like, how high could he get? Once he got to 75, I just thought, keep on going. Feed this guy the ball, get him past Kobe. Why not? Track down 100 if you can. But I thought it was awesome. And like you said, there's the detractors who want to throw shade on it because that's what we do in 2026. Shaq, Wilt, Kobe, Bam, all these guys, incredible. I can't downplay any of them. Anytime you put up over 80 points, it's something that's extremely historic. And I wasn't enjoying it, even if it took a lot of free throws. I just wish he would have hit all of them, go a little bit higher with the point total. But it was a crazy night in sports. You had that, of course, the Oilers, and then, Italy getting past the United States in baseball, even though they're mostly Americans. It's pretty impressive. And then the Maxx Crosby deal going backwards. It was just, everything was happening.
Looking at that Italy, USA, and so Canada's playing right now. Canada needs a win. Like, this could be historic for Canadian baseball. They've never been to the quarters of the World Baseball Classic, right? They've never been there. So they got to win. They're taking on Cuba today. And then you have Italy and Mexico. And it's kind of a weird format because of the, if they score 5 runs, U.S. is automatically in. That's kind of weird. Like, it's odd to me. Like, it's not run differential. It's just runs for. So obviously they're promoting offense, which I guess I kind of understand. But that to me is a little unique. But then there's something about cons. If it gets to extra innings, that changes how it's deciphered. So that's kind of wild. It's not just clear and cut and dry, because somehow if they get to extra innings, because the formula, it's based on runs per inning. And then if all of a sudden they have 5 and now it's 14 innings instead of 9 innings. So it's kind of wild. But if it's a low scoring game, the U.S. is out.
Yeah. If Italy wins, they go through the states. If Mexico wins by 5 or more, they go in 4 or less runs total. They go on and the Americans are out.
Yeah.
The Italian team, Gregor, I looked at it. There's like 2 Italian-born players, a couple of Venezuelans and a Canadian. The rest Americans. So maybe they'll be trying to do their brother a favor and make sure they get through. But it's you look at those names, they're not household names. To beat the Americans last night was crazy.
Oh, no. Italy, trust me, they're still the underdog against Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Make no mistake. Like, the fact that the Americans lost the game to an Italian team whose top 5 batters went over, like, you gave up 8 runs. They're pitching, like, I saw people talking about, well, they should have batted this guy and they should have had Harper in the lineup. Okay. But the guys they had in the lineup hit home runs. It's the pitching that cost them the game. It wasn't due to runs. It was due to pitching. They gave up 8 runs. All to the bottom of the order, which is, like, I'd like to, when was the last time a team scored 8 runs and your top 5 batters did not get a hit? I'm sure it's happened before, but that seems like it's very rare. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. You can text us. It's the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Hey, Gregor, any credence to the thought that the major immediately calmed things down? Not sure if the Oilers would want a pound of flesh from Pat. Well, again, I don't necessarily believe that. First of all, McKinnon's out of the game. Now, if he gets a minor penalty, do I think the Oilers are going to try to run Nathan McKinnon in the third period? Part of me would like to see it, but it doesn't really work. Like, I don't think so, but I can't say for certain. I don't know if they kick him out for that reason. I don't think you can say, well, we better give him a major in case something's going to happen. Because it doesn't always have to happen that game. Look at Trent Frederick and Nick Roy. Right? Remember last year in the playoffs, Nicholas Roy cross-checked Frederick like blatantly in the chops. You can't get more blatant than that. And Frederick waited. And yesterday said, let's go. It doesn't always have to happen in the first time you meet again. And that just shows you to me, like, Frederick's game, it's a lot better. It's a lot better coming out of the Olympics. He's the player that the Oilers hoped they would get. He's been physical. He wins battles. He's chipping a little bit of offense. Well, actually, a lot. 2 in 7 games is pretty good for a guy. You look at that over the whole course of a season. It's a 20-some goal score. So you take that all day long, right? I don't expect him to score 2 goals every 7 games, but it's been pretty good. Hey, guys, if that was Bennett, it wouldn't have been a penalty from Nogi. Well, see, there's the difference. Bennett knows how to disguise it better. right? He knows how to disguise it better. So, hey, guys, McKinnon was cutting through the blue paint at Mach 1. I can't see where anybody would say that was a 5-minute penalty if the goalie's outside. It would have been one thing, but he wasn't, from Kevlar. Yeah. Hey, guys, it was a minor, but isn't it an automatic double minor because there was blood from Devtron? Well, no, because this was a pressure cut. And, like, McKinnon's, it's weird. Like, there's some validity in what you say, but a double minor is usually when it's a stick. And I don't think it was McKinnon's stick who hit him. I just think it was his body. I did the replay. I couldn't see it conclusively that it was a stick that hit him in the mask. I think it was just his body. Like, that's how much force there was in that collision. And, Ingram, no announcement yet from the Edmonton Oilers today. It's coming up close to 3:00. They don't call anybody up. I think he'll be fine. It's probably a little bit of a concussion spotter. And then you say, you know what? Why bring him back? And I will say, Tristan Jarry has to come in completely stone cold, and he makes 2 big saves on that 4-on-4. Like, not great defense. Your goalie comes in, all you got to do is get out of the period. Then he can go in the back room and, sit in the hallway. They can shoot some pucks at him, warm him up. No. They give up some glorious chances, and he makes some good saves. And honestly, I think that might have been the best thing for Jarry. He didn't have time to overthink it. I thought he played a really solid game. Right? He ends up with a .917 save percentage. I know it's only 12 shots, but you got to start somewhere if you're Tristan Jarry. And I thought he looked really confident and poised in the third period. Really poised. Made some key stops, especially on Natchez. So I will give Tristan Jarry credit. Maybe, it's a big maybe. I know it's only 20 minutes and change. But you need a starting point. Trent Frederick needed a new starting point. It's being the Olympic break. Maybe this is the starting point for Jarry. We'll see. I fully expect Tristan Jarry to start tomorrow against the Dallas Stars. Then Ingram can play against St. Louis on Friday. And away you go. But I really liked how Jarry played in that game, as well as the defense. We'll get into some of the other numbers a little bit later on in the show. Coming up today, a one-on-one I had with Shaquille O'Neal. He was in town today. He's got a partnership with the Brick. We'll tell you about that. Also, Tyler Yaremchuk. Nick Olczyk will join us, the Utah Mammoth. Schmaltz signs an 8-year extension today. Good for him, $8 million a year. We got Speck. Dalton Wasserman will join us, talk a little NFL. Cam Tate is back with the 2-minute warning. We'll get to the stats of the day and much, much more on a busy Wednesday edition. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. We'll return with Shaq.
Hey, Edmonton, did you know a local Play Alberta winner scored over $500,000 on Mega Jackpots Ocean Bells? The season tickets you could lock down with that kind of cash. From major casino winners every hour to jackpots worth millions and hundreds of popular games to money that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up for Play Alberta. Download the app today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. When you gamble, use your game sense.
And now Action Electrical's testing team is on defense duty. They're the guardians of safety and compliance, a critical part of any lineup.
Precisely. They perform rigorous safety and code compliance testing for commercial operations. Think of them as the referees, ensuring everything is up to standard before disaster strikes.
Their preventative plays are legendary, spotting faults early. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
They're not just a grocery store. They're a butcher, a baker, a cafe, deli, rotisserie pizza, and restaurant, all under one roof. Loca Quality Market does food differently with 2 locations to serve you. Edmonton and Sherwood Park. Visit loca.ca.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
At Hughes, it's all about getting in and out quick and clean. No cash, no problem. With Hughes' new tap and wash system, all you need is your debit or credit card to get your vehicle sparkling clean.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
The longest running basketball show in Canada airs every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440. Hoop City with Paul Sir introduces a new generation of basketball talk, and it's right here on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440.
Welcome to Silent Ice Center, the region's newest hockey and event center in Nisku. Featuring 2 NHL-size ice surfaces, premium seating, private suites, and an electric atmosphere. From elite hockey to major tournaments, concerts, and special events, this is where the action lives. And with Summit Restaurant overlooking the ring, every event is a full experience. Silent Ice Center, built for champions, built for the community. Book your ice, your event, or your next big night at Silent Ice Center. Email booking at silenticecenter.com.
Don't let equipment failure stop you cold. At AWS Welding in Nisku, our factory-trained service techs are on hand for all welding equipment repairs. We're a full warranty center for Miller, Lincoln, and ESAB, and we service all makes and models. Proper, regular service extends the life of your gear and keeps it running at peak capacity. Don't wait for a breakdown. Book your service appointment today at aws.ca. AWS Welding. Our welding keeps you working.
NHL Star Sticks are back in McDonald's, and we're celebrating by going bigger.
Make that smaller, way smaller than ever before.
Collect the set and get one of 7 mini sticks with every NHL Star Sticks meal. Featuring McDavid, Matthews, Quinn Hughes, McCarr, Celebrini, Reinhardt, and Montembeau. So get yours while they last. 1 stick per meal purchase. Limited time at participating Canadian restaurants.
Commissioner Allen Auctioneering's Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Heavy Truck Auction is this Thursday at 9 a.m. with tandem and single axle trucks, including tractors, decks, dumps, man lifts, plows, vacs, pickers, refuse, and shunt trucks, plus more. Info at maauctions.com.
Ah, yes, Alberta in March. Green beer and slushy roads. Where the only thing worse than the roads is trusting them. If your brakes are squealing louder than a pub on game night, or your shocks feel like they found potholes instead of a pot of gold, it's time to go to Napa Auto Parts. With over 85 locations in Alberta, Napa has the quality parts, tools, equipment, and know-how to keep your ride smooth and feeling confident. More than lucky. Visit your local store today or visit online at napacanada.com. That's Napa know-how.
Commissioner Allen Auctioneering's 3-day Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Equipment Auction is this Friday at 9 a.m. featuring backhoes, dozers, digger derrick, forklifts, man lifts, wheel loaders, skid steers, telehandlers, turf mowers, plus commercial trailers and more. Info at maauctions.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by UL, helping you finish your electrical project is their goal. From pot lights to electrical panels, the gear you need is at ul.ca or in person at one of their Edmonton area locations. ul.ca, your partners in power.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.226 rolling through Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Of course, the Oilers travel day today. They will get into Dallas today, and they will take on the Dallas Stars tomorrow. Then the quick jaunt to St. Louis for Friday's game. Then the Oilers come home, and they have a 4-game homestand. I think they play 10 at home and only 1, 2, 5 more games on the road. So pretty decent schedule for the Oilers. They can get through this week. They've already had a really good start to the road trip. So they needed at least 2 wins. Well, they got 2. Now you split these next 2 and all of a sudden it's 3-1. Maybe you find a way to sweeten both, which would be nuts, but hey, dare to dream. The Oilers got to get on a streak here at some point. So maybe now's the time. We shall see. Let's get to our big guest of the day. And he is big. Brought to you by the Spruce Grove Saints. Exciting BCHL action. They're coming down to the wire. They're in a battle for a playoff spot. Well, they're in. It's just a matter of seeding as they battle against the Crusaders. They are at home this Friday and Saturday, the Thompson Family Arena, Friday night at 7, 6 o'clock on Saturday. Get your tickets, sgsaints.ca. And Shaquille O'Neal was in town because he's got a partnership with The Brick. And we'll get into that. But first, of course, hey, Shaquille O'Neal, one of the greatest basketball players ever. We got to start talking a little basketball.
Give me your thoughts on 83 points.
I didn't see the game, but looking at the stats, it amazed me how somebody can get to the line 46 times. But forget that. It amazed me is how you are competing and you let somebody get 81 points on you. Washington Wizards should be ashamed. However, kudos to Bam Adebayo, number 2. You know, that's something that will be held for a long time, and I'm glad it happened in my sport. That's like the Edmonton Oilers playing against a team and they allow somebody to score 50 goals on them. Like, it's just, I mean, like, I know there'll be a fight in Edmonton. Like, I know there'll be fights in the stands, fights on the ice. So to let somebody score 81 points on you, I don't know.
Now you come to Edmonton and Shaq Hyman, they're on the road. How disappointing is that for you?
I was very disappointed, but a friend of mine, a.k.a. Boss Lady, I'm not going to tell you her name, she gave me an autographed Jack Hyman jersey. And it's going right to the, as soon as I land back in Atlanta, I'm going right to the frame shop.
What was it about his game that appealed to you?
Gets deep in the paint. Name is Jack. It's easy to make a Shaq joke off of that. And I love all hockey players. You know, they're tremendous, remarkable athletes. Like athletes and jocks, we like to sit on the couch and say, I can do that. I always said I could skate forward. But the way they skate backwards and fight, it's just something I couldn't do. So I've always been a fan of hockey.
You're one of the biggest personalities in sports, and figuratively and literally. But you've always managed. There's tons of videos online where the human side of Shaq, how you treat people, doesn't matter who they are, with a lot of respect. Where did that come from, and how important is that for you to maintain?
Military background. Father does not allow disrespect. One time 16, I was being arrogant to an MP, military police on base. I was running through somebody's grass, and the guy was like, don't run through the grass. I was like, be quiet. And he told my father I had to run about 100 laps. I had to go up to and apologize to all the MPs. My father just told me a quick story. Don't you ever respect a man. Don't you ever respect a woman. Don't you ever respect anybody. Disrespect, excuse me. So I've always been about that. And I don't see myself as a superstar. I'm more of a Rocky Balboa, a guy that was already well respected on my little army base. Listened to his parents, made it big time, and just never changed. I did a press conference about 10 years ago where I dispelled myself as a celebrity, because I hate to say it, celebrities are assholes. They are disrespectful, they're rude, they don't set good example for children. I never wanted to be in that category. My mother would be disappointed, my father, rest in peace, would be disappointed, and I'm a guy that never likes to disappoint family. And I have children now, so I have to set a good example. And everything I'm doing is what I was taught. Like when you see me doing nice stuff, I've seen my parents do that. They didn't have anything. Like I've seen my mother get our old clothes, take it to Salvation, and give it to some people who didn't have any clothes, and they received them like they were brand new clothes. So stuff like that has always touched my heart. So whenever I'm out anywhere, I'll just buy somebody something.
I watched your documentary. You had the opportunity to work with your son, and a lot of parents in business that can be good or bad. Yeah, from what we saw, maybe on the camera, it's different. What did you learn about that? How did that help or strengthen or challenge the relationship?
I had to learn how to evolve. I had a very strong upbringing, super strong. But then I looked at the simpler formula. I was a high-level juvenile delinquent because there were a lot of temptations. My kids don't have those temptations, so I had to turn it down a lot, but especially with the girls. So, and then I bring it down to the basics. I don't want you to be a basketball star. I want you to have fun. I want you to go to school and be successful. Whatever you want to be, you can be it. So once I added those formulas in, I think I became a better parent. My father was hard. And I don't dislike them for it. I actually love them for it because it made me the man who I am. But I can't be like that, my kids. So you just have to let them be free. I can proudly say 7 children, 0 problems ever. And that's rare because I know a lot of people that are successful when their kids are having a lot of problems. I don't have any problems with my children. So I think me and their mothers did wonderful jobs.
You mentioned your parents didn't have a lot. So where did the business entrepreneur in you come from?
So my father also did a great job of implanting horror stories in my head. Whenever an athlete did something wrong with the money, I would get in trouble for it. I don't believe this dude lost $1 million. Go outside and run. So it was always in my head, like, I can't do this, I can't do that. And they were big on education. My father was very sports. He's like, you'll be the first one in the family to go to college and get a grade. You better graduate. He was always talking about that. He never cared about the money. And then during the NBA, once a year they give the financials and this and that. 67% of all professional athletes, when they're done playing, have nothing. And I can remember running to the game one day, he said, I like this house you bought your mom, but if you don't continue to do the right thing, your mom is going to lose her house. So imagine that. I'm like, I can't, when I'm done playing, not have anything and send my mother back to where we came from, because she never had a house before. So the house that I bought her, like, so everything I do now is I just say it subconsciously. You got to make the right decision, because if you don't, your mother will lose her house. And that's the type of pressure he would put on me because he knew I could handle it.
And you're here for the brick, of course. Shackapedic, you've been involved in a lot of things. Tell the listeners, the viewers, what to expect with Shackapedic.
They said they want to do business. I already knew who they were. Been around since 71, 200 stores, #1 furniture company in the world. And, they speak the same language, durability, comfortability, and my favorite, affordability. Even though I am who I am, I respect people like you more than I respect people like me. For example, you got to get up at 7. You got to get up at 8. You got to take this back. You got to edit it. You got to submit it to somebody. Boom, bam. That's work. I don't really do a lot of work. So after doing all that, you need a couch. We want you to come in the bricks and go, oh, I can get this and this for that price. I'll take it. Not like once you get the customer to go, you lost them. So, Bricks have always done a great job of just making high quality, great stuff at a great price.
One last one, circling back to the NBA. We just saw SGA. You're a pretty good scorer. 126, got the chance to break the record on Thursday night. I know some people think, wow, it's 20 points every game, but no one can do it.
About the record, I think Canadians should be proud that the best player in the world in the NBA is Canadian. And he's going to have that title for a long time. Steve Nash had a couple years when he got MVP twice and then went all over the place. But you heard it from the Shaq, SGA is the best player in the world right now.
Social media and different memes and Shaquille O'Neal and how he interacts with people, and I saw it in the room, and he talking about the boss lady who had helped him out. He actually took her phone and videoed a funny message to one of her friends, and because he's such a big personality, not to mention big human. Lots of people know who Shaquille O'Neal is, and I would think that would be hard. Like he can never really just kind of slide in somewhere. When you're 7'1" and that large, you walks into a room, lots of people notice you. Even if you're not anybody, they still notice it. Look at that person; it's really tall. And you know what? I think for Shaq, I'm assuming that would be draining after a while. But he takes that, and I do believe just how he interacts with people. And not just, from seeing it today. I think a lot of people have seen it over the years and how he interacts with people. You see it, he's a very funny guy. Him and Charles Barkley, man, they had the other day they went at it, their butt face. Those two will chirp each other like buddies. I think that's what makes them so appealing on TV, is because they're entertaining, but how they chirp each other is how a lot of just average Joe guys chirp their best buddy. if you're not chirping him, it means you probably don't really like him that much. And you better be able to take it. Right? It's just how it works. You got to give it, you got to take it. And he's obviously being extremely successful in business. Is there anybody who does more commercials than Shaquille O'Neal right now? Cons, can you think of anybody?
No, not even close.
Like, he's in with a lot of different brands, right? He's obviously a very recognizable name. He does a lot of stuff. He's still working on the NBA, but he's like one of the best faces for the NBA. Like, I know, and Shaq, he owned it, right? Like, him and his wife, they got divorced. I don't know. This is like 15, 16, 17 years ago, however long it was. And he owned it, right? He didn't shy away from it. Said, man, I wasn't good. It wasn't, there was a lot of infidelity, and he owned up to it. Doesn't make it right, but he owned up to it. And that he didn't let that define him, right? It's part of who he is. You're all flawed as human beings, right? There's some flaws that are worse than others, no question. But you don't rarely hear a lot of negativity around Shaquille O'Neal. Right? Like, him and Barkley get into it and they kind of have fun with it. But when was the last time you heard and saw, like, even you go back to when he played, right? Like, he had some really good sound bites. The Sacramento Queens and everybody, right? Instead of the Kings. Right? Like, he's had a few, but there hasn't been a lot of negativity that follows him around. And I think it's because his personality seems to be a person who it's glass half full more than glass half empty in a lot of his interactions in life. I think you can learn from something like that. But, man, I got a lot of respect for someone like that because you're in the public eye a lot of the time. And you can't just, like, he can't put on a hat and try to slide into a restaurant and have nobody notice him, right? If you're 5'9", you're 5'10", you're average person, right? You could wear shades and a hat. And unless somebody's like really noticing, you could probably walk into some areas without being recognized. It's kind of hard when you're as big as Shaquille O'Neal is. And did get a picture day with him, Cons. And luckily he was sitting down because I made the mistake. I remember when I interviewed the Mountain. And the Mountain actually, like, as big as Shaq is, the Mountain's bigger. And I wore like the worst. I had a vest that I love, but I looked like a ventriloquist dummy beside him in that picture. And so today, like, lucky he was sitting down and he said, "Hey, do you want to stand up?" And I said, "No." And then I told him the story. We had a little chuckle about it. I said, and it's too bad. I didn't bring my phone in because, someone take a picture for us, but it was, I kind of had a chuckle about that. I was like, yeah, didn't, when you're around someone who's just that large, and I'm not a small person, but man, I've never felt that small than I did beside the Mountain ever in my life. It was ridiculous. He was a large, big human. And Shaquille O'Neal's obviously big. Shaquille, a much bigger personality, right? He's very gregarious. He's cracking jokes. He's making everybody in the room there smile and laugh the whole time. Like, you can see why people gravitate towards him because he's got kind of an infectious personality for sure.
How big was that chair he was sitting in?
Oh, yeah.
I would have sunk into that thing.
Yeah. Well, what's funny though? Like, yeah, you need a big chair for him. And that's, we had a very brief discussion just about, the furniture line that he has coming out with the brick. And, it's got a lot of cool stuff. There's a little like heating and cooling, but they're different sizes. And I'm like, yeah, you got to have some couches like to fit him is very different, but you'll actually probably see the commercial and he actually lays out on it. That's how big it is that he can lay on it. And that was part of it because it's like Shaquille O'Neal can't sell you a little 2-seat cushion couch and that be the only thing and be like, hey, this is Shaquille, because you're like, he'll never sit on this. So it's definitely something that you can be like, oh, he'd actually sit on it. So that's why it was in Edmonton. People wondering because the Brick had they have a huge event going on right now with a lot of the suppliers down at the I guess is what the Edmonton Convention Center now, and so that's where they had a whole private room set up for the interview. So lucky enough to do it. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We got more on the orders. Also, another record-breaking moment for a Canadian. We talked about SGA. He's tied Wilt's record. He could break it tomorrow. And another Canadian making their mark. We'll discuss it next. The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Booster Juice is going crazy for hazelnuts.
No, not crazy. Nuts.
Booster Juice is going bananas for hazelnuts.
I mean, there are bananas in smoothies, but that's not the point.
Banana juice is booster for hazelnuts.
What? Just stop.
Booster Juice is going nuts for hazelnut. Introducing the Nutty Monkey Smoothie, Holy Hazelnut Acai Bowl, and Nutty Booster Ball, all made with rich, creamy hazelnut spread. Try them today, only at Booster Juice. Canadian-born, blending since 1999.
The Jedi return to Rogers Place.
Saturday night, your Edmonton Oil Kings look to trap the Brandon Wheat Kings in Carbonite for the annual Star Wars game. Catch characters on the concourse for out-of-this-world selfies, Calmont Kids food combos for $10 or less. Plus, the Oil Kings will wear special Star Wars-themed jerseys that'll be auctioned and raffled off in support of Sorrentino's Compassion House. The Edmonton Oil Kings Star Wars game.
Saturday at 7. Great seats at Rogers Place start at only $20 at oilkings.ca.
Need a new ride for road trips, errands, or just life on the go? Go Auto offers a massive selection with over 15,000 new and used vehicles to choose from. With over 70 locations across Western Canada, finding your next ride has never been easier. Whether it's a roomy SUV for the family, a sleek car for the open road, or a rugged truck for your weekend adventures, you'll find it here at a price you'll love. Explore thousands of vehicles today at goauto.ca.
Great news for your weekend project. CFI, that's Custom Floors Inc., is now open 6 days a week with Saturday hours from 10 till 2. Get top quality Canadian products from Beaulieu with the convenience you need. For your free estimate, visit CFI at customfloorsinc.ca.
Smart, connected, community driven. Jason Gregor sets the standard for sports talk in Edmonton. Join the conversation on Sports 1440. Text Gregor 833-401-1440. Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
It's the iconic Jasper and Patty Party. That's on the rocks. We're turning Jasper Avenue green.
Your 5-day St. Paddy's Day party kicks off Friday at OTR.
With live entertainment every day.
Including the Feelin' Lucky burlesque show on Sunday.
Plus pipers, Irish dancers, and doors open at 9 a.m. on the 17th.
We got more green beer than Marco has fancy shirts. And trust me, that's a lot.
Lucky the Leprechaun will be there.
Will you?
It's the iconic Jasper and Patty Party. That's on the rocks. Next round's on me. Woo-hoo.
When life unexpectedly changes, it can leave us feeling unbalanced, uncertain, and unsure of how to move forward. But you don't have to go through it alone. I'm Corey Anderson with Fairway Divorce Solutions. Our team helps reestablish balance, guiding you through your divorce with compassion, clarity, and support. Fairway has helped more than 6,500 families across Canada find a path towards a peaceful, fair resolution. With 2 offices in Edmonton, we're here to make your journey easier. Discover your options at Fairway Divorce.
Did you know The Brick is proudly Canadian-owned and operated? We started right here in Canada over 50 years ago. Now, our 5,000 team members are proud to be your neighbor in more than 200 communities across Canada. And we support all Canadians with a growing selection of quality-made Canadian products and manufacturers. Nobody knows more about furnishing Canadian homes at the guaranteed lowest price than us. The Brick, saving you more.
Visit thebrick.com and use our store locator to find a brick store near you. For 50 years, the Selby Group has been building trusted homes in strong communities. This year, we're celebrating that milestone with special events and anniversary promotions you won't want to miss. Discover Hillshire by Selby Group, beautifully designed homes in a community built for the way you live today. And coming this spring, move-in ready spec homes will be available. Your new home is waiting. Celebrate 50 years of Selby Group at Hillshire. Visit salvygroup.com or stop by Hillshire today.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor, the best place for wine, cocktails, and beers from all over the world. Also a variety of excellent non-alcoholic options. See more at SherbrookeLiquor.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$2:45. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you're having a lovely day. We got a lot of texts flying in. 833-401-1440. The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Gold ball jackpot tonight, $44 million from Lotto 649. We're going to get to the oil report in a second, but first got a lot of texts to get to. 833-401-1440. Hey, guys, I love Shaq. Shaq Man's hilarious, and he's got the biggest heart. Cool interview, Jay. I saw DJ Diesel rock the crowd at a concert in Mexico. He loves dubstep. What is dubstep? Jamie from Beaumont. Cons, what's dubstep? Do you know?
Like electronic.
Oh,
Like
okay.
Skrillex would be dubstep.
Oh, that's okay. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
I just thought it's called electronic. See, I don't know the proper terms here. I don't know the proper terms at all. So
Yeah, I don't know how to properly describe it, but I know it when I hear it.
Hey, Gregor, Shaq with a legendary quote. Let's be honest, celebrities are a-holes. What a beauty. Love it. From Delta Valley Jeff. Yeah. Well, you know what? Hey, Shaq knows how to, he's never afraid to speak his mind. And he's obviously interacted with way more than I have of celebrities. And you know what? I'll probably take his word for it because he's interacted with way more than I have. So he would probably know. Hey, guys, McKinnon drilled Nurse in the head as well. Nurse is reaching for the puck. Well, yeah, I don't know, dude. If you're bent over and you lean in and the guy skates, that's not. There's nothing there against Nurse that I would say was bad. Hey, Gregor, rule 48.1. A hit resulted in contact when the opponent's head, where the head was the main point of contact, and such contact of the head was avoidable, is not permitted. Penalties under Rule 48 typically start as a major penalty, plus a game misconduct, especially if contact is deemed avoidable and results in injury or particularly egregious. Yeah, well, and that's where, Patty, it's going to come down. That's obviously what they went to. And I'm sure Colorado could argue and say, hey, when you say that it's deemed avoidable, by making contact of Nurse, their argument is that made him run into him. And watching it, how fast he was going, was there contact? Yes. But McKinnon, if you go down and put it in slow motion before the contact was made, look where his skates are. Look how deep he is in the crease. Look how deep Ingram is in the crease. And I think that's what they went off of, was how deep he was in the crease and how, and that's where the contact was made. It wasn't made at the top of the crease like people were saying. So, hey, Gregor, someone handed the ref a phone during the review process. Someone was saying this has to be a major scrutiny online. Will go nuts from Aaron. Well, no, Aaron, they talk to them all the time. That's often you'll see the official. Sometimes you get the headphones. Sometimes it's a phone, depending on how the communication is. So usually they'll be talking back with Toronto. And that's how it works. So I don't believe, though, that they look and say, hey, because when you say the scrutiny will go nuts, scrutiny from who? Oilers fans? Because the scrutiny from Avs fans was that it sucked, including their head coach. I don't care if their goalie got hurt. It's not our fault, right? And hey, I understand why Jared Bednar says that. Jared Bednar's the head coach of Colorado. His team is fired up. They didn't like it. They lost. They lost their best player. You know what? You go out publicly and you are defending your team all day. All day. You are. That's why I remember, I could tell you when I knew that Belanger wasn't here for long-term in Edmonton. Remember when Nail Yakupov scored the tying goal late in the game against the Kings, and then he skated to center and slid on his knees? Right? That was like year 4 or 5 of the decade of darkness. And there'd been a lot of losing, and he was a young, excitable player, and the fans liked him. And he celebrated. A tie game, sure, in the final few minutes, but at that stage of his career, it was big. It was a big goal for him. Europeans are a little bit more flamboyant. His own teammate, Eric Belanger, threw him under the bus after the game. And I said, right there is that I said, all I need to know about what a terrible leader Eric Belanger is right there. Right there. Now, if you want to talk to the kid private, say, hey, man, you know what? It's a tie game. Maybe don't celebrate like that. If you want to, go. But you also should understand that Europeans have a little bit more natural. They like to celebrate more than us. We could argue that we're a little bit too stuffy at times. But either way, he didn't hurt anybody. He didn't celebrate in front of their bench. The crowd loved it. Fans loved it. They didn't have a lot to cheer for. And you come out after the game and throw your own young teammate under the bus. That's when I knew right then and there what a clown show Belanger was. And there's no surprise he was gone quickly. And his career wrapped up not much longer after that. Right? There's certain things you do or say. So I fully understand why the coach comes out there and says, hey, I don't care if their goalie got hurt. And actually, it's probably actually true in that moment, because he felt Nurse's contact was the only reason his player touched their goalie. Whether or not that's true or not, we will see. So, hey, Gregor, if you finish first in the division, you probably play Utah. If you finish second, you play Vegas. Which one's easier? KP. Well, I don't know. I wouldn't. If you're Edmonton, you want to win the division and finish first. I don't think you strategize to try to plan, I think Vegas or Utah is easier. I don't really. The way Vegas is playing right now, they might be easier. Right? Like Utah's got a lot of good pieces. And I'll tell you, if Cooley hadn't been hurt all year, now they'd have a hard time catching Minnesota at this point or Dallas. But Utah's a pretty good team. And like you look at Utah, look at their goal for ratios, plus 22. It's one of the best in the NHL. Right? The only teams I think they'd be like fifth as well in the East. Utah's a pretty solid team. So I might argue it would actually be Vegas. Now, Utah doesn't have a ton of playoff experience, though. That's the one caveat. If I'm Edmonton, I'm not worried if I'm playing Vegas or Utah. I believe I could beat both of them. That would be my mindset. I don't think anywhere else. It's a good question. Hey, Gregor, the 5-minute major was like watching your mother-in-law drive off a cliff in your brand new Cadillac. Jari was coming in cold, mixed emotions. Jeez, I love my mother-in-law. I'd be crushed. Like, honestly, Cheryl's great. I call her Mill, mother-in-law. She's fantastic. Got along great. Kidding me? So, I don't know. I never, luckily, I don't aspire to that. I don't have a terrible mother-in-law at all. I have an awesome mother-in-law. But the Jari came in cold and he played great. So, regardless if it was a major or a minor, he was still coming in cold. That's irrelevant at that point, right? It's irrelevant at that point. So, Canada just took a lead. They're up 3-1, and they got runners on second and third. Man, this will be massive for Canadian baseball. Win today over Cuba, and they will get into the playoff round, into the quarterfinals. So, hope the boys can hold on to it. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, Gregor, I was at the game and the refs really tried to screw the orders. That's part of why he was so excited. All the frustration from fans and players was released. I didn't see it's funny. Like all the Avs fans are like, the orders only win because the refs help them. It's like, do you know who has the biggest differential between penalty chances and penalty kills in the NHL the last few years? It's the Colorado Avalanche. Like the Avs cannot talk about getting significant advantages from the officials. If you want to be mad about the one call, that's okay. But you look foolish when you start to make claims that the Edmonton Oilers get a lot of help from officials because the numbers simply don't back it up. The Oilers don't get an absorbent amount of more power plays than they have penalty kills, right? Doesn't happen.
I know it's out of the 5-minute major, it was even, right? In terms of power plays.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Not the best argument.
No, not the best argument at all. And Gregor, I still remember that interview. Belanger was rocking a red scarf in the interview while being on a hater on the kid. I like that you remember Large Farva, what he was wearing. Oh, my God. That's awesome. I don't remember that. Right. I do remember, though, that, man, Belanger really, I called Chris Pronger the human rake. We actually had promos on the show. Hey, this is Chris Pronger, a.k.a. the Human Rake, and you're listening to the Gregor Show. Because people thought, I'd be too scared to say it to his face. Pronger had a great sense of humor. We laugh about it. He goes, that's actually a pretty good nickname. Because think about it, it's a human rake. Right? Yeah, he had the gap in his teeth. That was a little bit of the joke. But, man, that guy just raking up loose pucks all over. That's what he did. Right? Tall and lean like a rake. That's why I called him a human rake. Right? Andre Sekera, shin pad assassin. He had a chuckle about it. He laughed. Because, those nicknames get back through him. Eric Belanger, he didn't like the Belanger triangle. Not at all. So there's the difference in personality. You got to have a sense of humor sometimes. Belanger had none. There's very few guys I've covered that I thought were dicks, and he's one. So it's just how it goes. 2:57. Let's take a quick break. Come back. We got the oil report. We'll get to Yaremchuk. Nick Olczyk is going to join us. Utah. Moving on up, baby. And the last of the 8-year contracts. I'm curious how many more, because we had the question, guys, I thought 8-year contracts were done. Well, not officially. You can sign an 8-year contract until this CBA expires. I know it's weird, but the new CBA doesn't officially begin until September 16th. So technically, yes. Now, there are some things they instilled earlier, but not that. Right? So they put in the playoff salary cap right away. People agreed to it. They wanted it right away. The players obviously didn't want the 8 years to go away right away. So you could still sign a player for 8 years up until basically this signing period. And then it's done. So will other teams, how many more teams will do it? We'll see. But Schmaltz got he'll be one of the last guys to get an 8-year contract from their team. So there you go. Next year, it'll be 7 years max and then 6 years for free agents. Let's get to the con man and a sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. Tires, wheels are known for that, but also oil changes, vehicle repair. They can look at your whole system, tell you what's wrong, and even show you. FountainTire.com.
The Sports 1440 update.
Late night in the NHL, just 2 games on the schedule, both at 5:30. Sends Canadians and the Caps in Philadelphia. Off the ice for Nick Schmaltz, re-signing with the Utah Mammoth, agreeing to an 8-year contract extension worth $64 million rather than going to free agency this summer. Schmaltz, 30, is second on the team in scoring with 59 points in 64 games. In the association tonight, Toronto Raptors take on the Pelicans, tip off after 6. You've also got the Nuggets and the Rockets, Hornets, and Sacramento Clippers taking on the Timberwolves. At the World Baseball Classic, Canada just taking a 5-1 lead over Cuba in the top of the 6th. The winner of this one will advance to the quarterfinals in Houston. WHL earlier today, Oil Kings knocked off Wenatchee 6-1 in their annual Hockey Hooky Day. In the AJ Vineville is in Fort Mac at 7, and in the PWHL, Seattle hosting Boston just after 8. And from the NFL, the Baltimore Ravens agreeing to sign free agent defensive and Trey Hendrickson after pulling out of their trade for Maxx Crosby. Per reports, it's 4 years, $112 million. And the Bills signing defensive end Bradley Chubb to a 3-year deal worth $43.5 million. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Tyler Yaremchuk of Oilers Nation and hear another edition of the Oil Report. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Cantork has turned 25. That's right, 25 years of building tools so good, they practically torque themselves. Hard work and innovation equals problem solved. See our latest designs at cantork.com.
It's Truck Month at Wolf GMC Buick, and we know trucks. And we have the best deals of the year right now. Some have 0% for 4 years. We have 0% for 6 years. That's on our #1 selling GMC Sierra half-ton crew cab, or the Elevation, the AT4, or Denali. Yep, 0% for 72 months. And Costco members get an extra discount on some of our SUVs. Pop in today and drive away smiling. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique family-owned independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
With the lead up to the playoffs underway, players are definitely stepping up their game.
And the fans are doing the same. Simple snacks like chips and dip may work at the front half of the season, but now more and more fans are rocking the Wilhauk beef jerky for game time get-togethers.
Just make sure you bring enough for everyone if you want to be invited back for the playoffs.
Make your next hockey game day a Will Hockey game day with Wilhauk beef jerky, only available in Leduc. Get yours today, because you don't win games with salad.
At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, healing doesn't have to feel heavy, because in our SwimX aquatic therapy pools, you literally float your way to recovery. Whether you're dealing with arthritis, back pain, joint injuries, post-surgical rehab, chronic pain, balance issues, mobility challenges, or just feeling a little creaky, warm water and gentle resistance have your back, your knees, and your hips. Trusted by pro sports teams and rehab hospitals, our SwimX pools help you move sooner, hurt less, and recover faster. So take the load off. Let the water do the work. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
5-time Junior Hockey League champion.
Afternoon.
Bruce Grove Saints are excited to be back on the ice at the brand new Thompson Family Arena. Be part of the action and enjoy some of the best junior hockey Canada has to offer by experiencing a Saints game for your next outing. Tickets range from $10 to $17 with free parking and some of the best food and drink specials in town. For more information on tickets and how you can become a partner, go to sgsaints.ca.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV, and I am a used RV salesman. But just because I love being a used RV salesman doesn't mean you would like doing my job all day long.
If you're selling your RV privately, that means that you have to be an RV salesman too.
That's right, Bob, and there's a lot of work involved. You have to find the customers, be ready to show it at a time and place that's convenient for the other guy. All the stuff you take for granted when you go to No Bull.
There's not a lot of glamour in being a used RV salesman, Rick.
I don't do it for the glamour, Bob. I love helping people enjoy the great outdoors on their terms. It's my life's work, but it doesn't have to be yours. When you sell your quality used RV with us, we take care of everything. Cleaning, repairs, commercials like this one to bring people in. And besides, I like being a used RV salesman a lot more than you do.
And that's No Bull.
NoBullRV.ca.
From the first face-off,
your whole system.
Sports 1440 is your home for hockey talk with live coverage, expert analysis, and pre- and post-game shows. We bring you closer to the game. Tune in 24/7 only on Sports 1440, Edmonton Sports Station.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows. Locally manufactured and installed, Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Do we have any now? Yeah, Donovan must have had some. Welcome back. Just after 3 o'clock, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Always appreciate it. The Gregor Shows brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Now, remember, if you gamble, use your game sense. GameSenseAB.ca. Stay within your limits at PlayAlberta.ca. The Edmonton Oilers are traveling today. They are going from Colorado to Dallas, where they will take on the red-hot Dallas Stars. The Stars defeated Vegas last night 2-1, despite getting outshot 27-16. Like, you look at 2 of their last 3 games, they've been outshot heavily. So you wonder, is that a sign that maybe they're due for a loss? They're 12-0-1 in their last 13 games. And the only loss came to Colorado in a shootout. They haven't lost in actual hockey since January 22nd. And guess what that loss was? 1-0 shutout loss to Columbus. So the Stars have been playing very good. They don't give up a ton. Now, they don't have Mikko Rantanen. They don't have Roope Hintz. You're the Edmonton Oilers. I know that Dallas is still deep, but they're not that deep, right? This is a good opportunity. The Oilers, when you want to be a good team, you have to beat the good teams. And the Oilers haven't done that early on. Like Maverick Bourque is now playing on their top line. I don't think he's a real top line guy right now. So they're a little bit weaker there. You got Sam Steele, hell of a player, not a regular top 6 guy. So you take Rantanen and Roope Hintz out of their lineup. They still got a good team, but it's definitely not as deep at all. Like you've got Johnston with Robertson and Bourque, and Duchesne and Ben and Steele, Bunting with Herkoian, Adam Ernie, and then Colin Blackwell, Artu Ahari, and Oscar Bach are the 4 lines. Defense is good. Heiskanen and Lindell, Harley and Lundqvist, Tyler Myers and Bichelle. That third pair, that might be the biggest third pair in the NHL. Whew, those are huge. But the Oilers, You know what? They've beaten Dallas when it matters most. That's in the playoffs, winning the last 2 series, going 8-3. They've only won one of their last 5 games in the regular season against the Stars, including losing 8-3 in Edmonton the last time these two teams met. They lost in a shootout earlier this year in Dallas in early November. I think it was like the 4th. That's a pretty good game, but they got spanked in Edmonton. So like they did last night, the Oilers have put themselves not in a hole per se as far as playoffs go, but a hole when it comes to trying to catch Anaheim. And now you're going to have to beat some teams down the stretch. You look at minutes played. We're not seeing McDavid and Draisaitl together. And I've always argued that the team is better when those two play more time apart. You want to give them the odd shift. And, of course, on the power play, well, 1,000%. No sane coach wouldn't put them together on a power play and in some other situations. But even with 11 forwards, you didn't have to grossly overplay those guys last night. 22 minutes, 23 minutes. Not terrible. So it's a good sign. And most of that was separate, except on the power play. And that just means more time to have to defend 2 of the best players in the world. To me, it's a great thing. Canada has extended their lead to 5-1. Awesome news. Awesome news. Hey, Greggs, what's your thoughts on Colton Dach's play since arriving? Seems to be just what we need with his physical play. Spicy Scott, well, it helps, but unfortunately, now he left that game. Hopefully, it's nothing too serious for him. I like what he brought. I think Colton Dach is more of a long-term play for the Edmonton Oilers. Because I think, when Adam Henrique comes in the lineup, Curtis Lazar's back. I really think they're going to want to put Curtis Lazar in the lineup. He's a veteran player. He's really reliable defensively, but he's a right shot who can win faceoffs. And they don't have that. And at key moments in games, that's going to help, right? That's going to help a lot. So it would be good. Let's get to the oil report now, brought to you by Go Auto. Cars, trucks, SUVs, you name it, they got it all at goauto.ca. Over 15,000 vehicles for you to choose from. Pretty sweet, man. And when you go to the Go Auto app, you save 10% off and get 5% back in rewards on parts and service right now at Go Auto. So the orders, we mentioned some of their numbers. Now, a few other things. Last night, if you missed it, Connor McDavid extends his road point streak to 19 games, which means the only guys in the last 40 years with longer streaks than him on the road, Gretzky had a 29-gamer in 87. Patty LaFontaine had a 22-gamer in 1990. Gretzky had a 22-gamer in 86. And Mario Lemieux had a 21-gamer in 1990. That's it. So nobody since 1990 has had a 20-game point streak on the road in the NHL. McDavid could do that. So do the math. First time in 36 years. Not bad. Right? Not bad at all. So he does have a chance. He could pass Lemieux and LaFontaine and the second Gretzky by the end of this month. Because tomorrow would be 20 games. Friday would be 21. He's got Utah and Vegas later on in the month. Could be up to 23 games on the road consecutively with points. So that's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. Now, he's not going to be able to break the record this year because the Oilers don't have 6 road games in the month of April. And this is not a record that my understanding, this doesn't carry over from year to year. It's in one single season, as it should be, because you get 5 months off, you're very well rested. It should never carry over from year to year for me. Now, if you missed it, a few things, Chris Knobloch, the head coach, was, pretty satisfied with their win last night.
It was an exciting game. They came out flying. They scored on the first shift, and we responded nicely a couple times. I think the goal at the end of the first period was huge with Roslovic scoring that. Nice play by Leon. Probably if we don't score that, maybe it's a lot harder to get back into that game. And then, the special teams were key for us. On the 5-minute major, we had several good chances early in that 5-minute major. Then after that, it kind of tailed off. But huge power play goal and then a huge kill.
Well, the special teams really came out massive, right? You had the power play goal, and then right after you had the penalty kill. And hey, special teams, there's not a lot of them. in a course of a game, but man, at certain times, it's huge. What about the Ingram injury and how's he doing?
Concussion protocol. He's feeling well. Obviously, that can change, but he was not allowed to come back. Not because of just because of concussion spotter.
So there you go. It says feeling good, and there hasn't been an announcement yet by the Edmonton Oilers today. I guess they could wait and do it tomorrow. I'm not sure what I guess would that be an emergency recall? It would be, so it wouldn't really matter for cap wise when they do it. So I guess they still could announce it tomorrow. I'm not sure what would be the benefit of that, but I would think Tristan Jarry, regardless, is starting tomorrow against Dallas. Even if Ingram's good, I think you're going back to Jarry. Just give Ingram an extra day off, and then he can play in St. Louis on Friday night. What did the coach see on the McKinnon play?
Yeah, that's a difficult one. You obviously have to protect your goalies. Whether it was accidental, well, obviously it wasn't on purpose, but it's something you have to be careful with the goaltenders. So, we weren't able to take advantage of it with any goals on that power play, but obviously they lost a good player.
Yeah, it's like I said, Oiler fans, if roles are reversed, would you be happy if McDavid got a 5-minute major there? So I can understand, because of who the player is, and whether you want to agree with that or not, how you view players, who it is, it just differs. It just does. And if it was the other way around, Oiler fans wouldn't have been loving it if it was McKinnon. So I get it. But it's when they go too far and claim that it wasn't even a penalty. That's a 2-minute minor all day, every day. That's not even a debate. Okay? Any rational human will realize that that's a penalty. Now, the major, that's where it becomes discretionary. I'll admit, I was like, man, I don't think they're going to give him a major, but I was a little surprised when they did. Edmonton didn't take advantage of it, but it did help him, no mistake, because McKinnon wasn't on the ice for the rest of the game. And you know who I liked in that game yesterday? I thought Tristan Jarry. I know it's limited. It's only 20 minutes and change. Faced 12 shots, stopped 11 on a .917 save percentage. But I thought he looked pretty good. Coming in cold, he just looked sharp. And what'd the coach think of Jarry?
Oh, it should be, he should feel very good about this. He gets in there and 30 seconds left in the second period, and he's tested 2 times. And then in the third period, he made some big saves, a couple on the power play, or Colorado's power play. He should feel very good about this. And we're going to definitely need him right away, once or if not twice, going into this back-to-back.
There you go. What did he say, once or twice, Connor? Did you
Oh,
hear
he
that?
did, yeah.
Did you hear that?
You want to hear it again?
Yeah, I want to hear that again.
Once or if not twice, going into this back-to-back.
Ooh, juicy, eh? So there you go. Just saying. Well, we could see him once, if not twice, going back-to-back. Or did he say will or could? Replay that part of it.
Once or if not
no.
Definitely need him right away. Once or if not twice, going into this.
Once or if not twice.
Yeah. So
I'm with you though, Gregor. Like, I think that was absolutely massive for him because the way things had gone for him in his time in Edmonton. Like, I'm thinking, oh no, like first shot goal, this is going to be an absolute backbreaker. But to get a couple big saves, and then like you said, then you go into the intermission, maybe you loosen up a little bit. Just getting out there and not having to think about it. Just like, Kate, Jarry, you're in there. Don't think about it. Just go make a couple saves, and he responded. So I think that was big for his confidence.
I just that last line, once, if not twice. Raised eyebrow. Just as of note, Oiler fans, because isn't Montreal playing their same goalies back to back, or is it just because I know Montembeau's not going again. Maybe they're not back to back, but I look at goalies have played back to back. It's not the end of the world, right? I think you can do it. And if I'm not mistaken, they're doing it tonight in Montreal. Dobish is going back-to-back, is he not? Because I know Montembeau's not playing tonight. And I'm pretty sure, Dobish is going back-to-back. So, hey, why not, baby? What? Like, the goalies aren't porcelain dolls. Like, they're like just not so fragile that they can't do it. So, we'll see. We shall see. Quick break. When we return, Tyler Yaremchuk joins us on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Just stop. Booster Juice is going nuts for hazelnut. Introducing the Nutty Monkey Smoothie, Holy Hazelnut Acai Bowl, and Nutty Booster Ball, all made with rich, creamy hazelnut spread. Try them today, only at Booster Juice. Canadian born, blending since 1999.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Well, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
You matter. Your mental health matters, and you're braver than you think. Not Alone is an organization focused on creating a space of acceptance and support through tough, meaningful conversation. Use code 1440 for 15% off at notalonecode.com. It's okay to not be okay.
Commissioner Allen Auctioneering's Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Heavy Truck Auction is this Thursday at 9 a.m. with tandem and single axle trucks, including tractors, decks, dumps, man lifts, plows, vacs, pickers, refuse, and shunt trucks, plus more. Info at maauctions.com.
Budget 2026 is focused on what matters. With record investments in healthcare and education and a plan to keep our economy strong. This means better access to doctors and nurses, plus 50,000 more surgeries over 3 years. It also means hiring more teachers and building or renovating more than 160 schools, all while keeping taxes low and growing the economy. Budget 2026, focused on what matters. Visit alberta.ca/budget. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Commissioner Allen Auctioneering's 3-day Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Equipment Auction is this Friday at 9 a.m. featuring backhoes, dozers, digger derrick, forklifts, man lifts, wheel loaders, skid steers, telehandlers, turf mowers, plus commercial trailers and more. Info at maauctions.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. For a limited time, get your favorite large specialty pizza from Papa John's for only $19.99. Use code LSPEC at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Well, into the sixth inning, and Canada leads 5-2 over Cuba. But bases juiced right now. Woo! Little tense situation. Canada needs to win, and they will move on and get to the quarterfinal round, the playoff elimination round for the first time. So, huge game for them. And later on tonight, man, the USA they need some help. Because if Italy wins, they move on. And if Mexico scores 5 runs and wins, then the U.S. gets in. Is that right, Cons? I got that right.
5+, yes.
Yeah, but they have to win.
And win, yeah.
Yeah, and win. So they have to win and score 5 runs. If they win basically 4-3, 4-2, 4-3, whatever, then the U.S. is out. That's a wild format, man. Wild format. Speaking of wild, we just heard Chris Knobloch. would he consider playing Jari back-to-back? I'll say if Jari played great in Dallas, I'd contemplate it. What? Why not? Now, obviously, he knows better where Ingram's at for sure. I know people say, well, just call up somebody else. Okay. But you want Tristan Jari to get going. So who knows? Maybe that would get him rolling. You never know. I thought that he looked really good, and that's coming off the bench there. Had to make a big save right away and then just continued on in the third period, playing pretty well. Let's get to Tyler Yaremchuk now as we go in the room, brought to you by Action Electrical, the most diversified electrical contractor in Alberta with 4 divisions: project, service, testing, and solar. Testing division includes infrared, arc flash, and energized or de-energized testing of electrical systems, in case you're wondering. As Tyler Yaremchuk from Oilers Nation and Daily Faceoff joins us. Ty, what'd you think of Jari last night?
I thought it was good. And you know what I think maybe honestly helped in that situation? And listen, I don't know a ton about like Tristan Jari, the person, but like he's under some pressure here to turn things around. And there's been whatever reports over the last couple of weeks about whatever happened at practice. I don't need to get into that. But like, I think maybe being in a situation like that where he didn't have an 8-hour or 24-hour buildup to like, okay, I'm starting the game, I got to play good, all this. I think just getting thrown right into the action last night was probably the best thing for him.
Wow. And you know what? Like I said, during the Olympic break, I said Trent Frederick just has to use this as a reset. He can't change what happened before, and he's used it as a reset. Trent Frederick has been really good since coming out of the Olympic break. And for Tristan Jari, it's a little bit different, but you have to find a starting point to have progress going forward. You can't always worry about the past. And who knows, maybe it's a relief appearance in Denver. You come off the bench, and boom, you have to make 2 big saves right away. Then, because it was in 40 seconds, and then he has the intermission, and then he came out in the third, and I had no chance on that high tip. That was a blown play by Draisaitl. But overall, I thought Jari, that's the most confident he looked in the net.
Yeah, I would agree. Like that first save that he had to make in the second, he came outside of his post a little bit on that one. But again, he faced a couple of high danger looks in that third period when it was a 1-goal game or when it was tied, and he stood tall. So hopefully this can be a momentum builder for him. And again, like a little bit of a mental reset of like, all right, he should have like a little bit of swagger now as they go into Thursday against Dallas. And listen, like, should they consider starting him back-to-back games? They might have to. Like, I don't know if you want Calvin Pickard flying across the country, then throwing him right back into a game against, definitely not against Dallas, but even St. Louis. I know they were sellers at the deadline, but don't look now. They've rattled off a few wins too.
Oh, yeah. No, they've 4 wins in a row. Something the Oilers have yet to do this year, by the way. So,
yeah.
Overall, though, for the Oilers, I thought that's a second consecutive pretty solid defensive effort. It's not perfect, but overall, it's a pretty good defensive effort, especially after being down 30 seconds into the game.
Yeah, and that too, like you want to talk about mental resilience. How about Darnell Nurse? Like the puck goes in off his stick. It's the 3rd game in a row or whatever. He's deflected one into his own net. And then he goes on to have what I think was one of his better games of the last couple of months here. Like he's sneakily pieced together a couple of nice games since, I guess it was the week before the deadline. And then he had a good game last night too. So I think Darnell Nurse is starting to play some better hockey. They're cleaning up some of those just tough sort of defensive reads that have cost them. They're still not perfect. Like, that Eichel goal at the end of the Vegas game, I thought there were a couple of bad reads there, one by Murphy, one from Draisaitl. You look at last night, the miscue on the Nichushkin goal from Draisaitl. We talked about the first one that goes in off Nurse. Like they're still not playing perfect, but they're taking steps in the right direction. And I know I throw this line out there all the time, but I talked with Jason Demers a lot about like being on those Sharks teams that were kind of like they had playoff spots locked up with a month to go in a lot of those seasons. And he said, like, you can't just go to game 1 of the playoffs and flip the switch. He says it's got to be like a dimmer. You have to slowly start doing 1 or 2 things better. You clean up a few things. And he said, eventually, by the time the playoffs start, you just want that dimmer at the top. But you need to be playing good hockey leading into the playoffs. And if you look at these last couple of games from the Oilers, there's reason to believe they're kind of on that path of just turning the dimmer up a little bit every single game.
The Oilers power play outside of the major, it was really good. On the major, it was just like, maybe they thought there was too much time, but man, their power play is on some sort of heater right.
Yeah, it is. And again, even yesterday, they missed on the 5-minute major. And then right before the 5-minute major is whatever, I guess 4 minutes before, they had another chance on the power play that I thought was a very pedestrian effort. And it came at a chance when they were up by 1 in that hockey game. So it was a little bit frustrating on that 5-minute major to kind of see them look off some really golden opportunities. I even looked at some of the numbers, like they didn't really generate much from high danger areas. They weren't getting the pucks to high danger areas in that 5-minute major. And it was like, that would have been a moment, again, against a team like Colorado, who you knew was going to have, even with McKinnon out, they were going to have another push at some point in that hockey game. Their power play had 2 chances to get them up by 2 goals, and it didn't come through. They obviously made good for it. That McDavid give and go with Draisaitl was just absolutely beautiful, and it's the kind of stuff that only those 2 guys can probably do. So the power play did come through, but again, I also think like if this team's going to be mediocre, slightly above average, whatever words you want to use to describe them at 5-on-5, then if they're going to win games, their superpowers have to be their superpowers, and their power play is a superpower. So last night, like, it's good that they sorted it out, because before they got that McDavid goal, I was sitting there and thinking like, man, they're going to be kicking themselves if they don't get the full 2 points out of this hockey game, because they had almost 7 straight minutes of power play time where they could have extended that lead to 2 goals and put that one away. So it was disappointing for a while, but they came through.
Looking at the orders now, they're going to Dallas. Chris Knobloch. Now, I know he said it, but I'm always like, ooh, raise my eyebrow when he said, hey, we really need him, going to this back-to-back once, if not twice. Would you play him in both games if he plays really well in Dallas?
I would. I heard what you were saying before the break, by the way. I think St. Louis came out and said it's Fowler tonight, though, which is crazy that they're going with the kid for that big game against Ottawa.
Yeah.
But
have you seen Montembeau's numbers, man?
Like, he's been brutal all year.
He has not been good. Now, Montreal, like, they got 80 points. They're only 2 points back of Tampa.
Yeah.
Now, Ottawa is 7 points back of them. And Ottawa, like, you could look and say, hey, if we beat Ottawa, it probably eliminates any chance of them catching us, right? So I see that. But if you went with Dobush last night, like, I actually thought he was going to go with Dobush only had, I think, 18 shots. Like, that was, like, the easiest game. Like, Toronto's terrible right now.
Yeah.
Like, I was watching that game, and I'm like, I want to say out of those 18 shots, there might have been 2 that were hard. So I actually thought that they were going back-to-back with him.
And you talk to a lot of goalies too, like they will take, 18 shots is one thing, but even in the games where it's 25, there's a difference between like 25 little shots off the rush that are 3-on-2s that you see the whole way and knock away versus like sometimes you only face 25 shots, but you spend the entire game with the puck in your zone and you're tracking, moving post to post. Like, it can totally wear you out. So to answer your first question about would I go Jari back to back, it's totally dependent on honestly how the Oilers play in front of him against Dallas. Like, if they can do a good job of limiting chances and if they can avoid getting hemmed into their zone for long stretches and it's not a super strenuous game on Tristan Jari, then yeah, I think you could sit there and say, even on the second of back-to-backs, he would give me a better chance of winning than Calvin Pickard. But if it's a game where even if the Oilers win 5-4 or they lose 5-1, if Jari gives up any amount of goal or has any semblance of a rough night, I think I would go to Calvin Pickard again on Thursday or on Friday, assuming that is, of course, Connor Ingram isn't ready to go. But I agree with you. Like, these guys are professional athletes. The idea of a goalie having to play back-to-back games, that shouldn't be the craziest ask in the world. I was chatting with Devin Dubnyk the other day because he had his name raised up to the rafters in Kamloops for the Blazers over the weekend, and we were laughing about some of his stat lines from junior. There was a year for the Blazers, he played 65 of their 72 games as a 17-year-old, Greg's, and he was laughing. He's like, we'd have 3-3s where we're playing 3 games in a row, and he says, I played every single one of them. So a professional goalie like Jari, who hasn't played a ton of hockey over the last 6 weeks here with the Olympic break and losing the crease for a bit, he can absolutely handle back-to-back hockey games if you need him to.
Yeah. What did you make of Connor Murphy? Because if people just look at shots for, shots against, they're going to say, oh, it was a bad game. I didn't see that. Like, he's on the ice. I just think Connor Murphy, like, there was multiple plays where he just shut down the cycle and it stops and Edmonton leaves the zone. He's not a guy who handles the puck a ton. Great, but he knows his role. And man, he's really solidified things. He can calm it down and he can stop a cycle better than a lot of their other D.
Yeah, and the one thing that's honestly stood out for me through Murphy's first few games with the Oilers is the things that were kind of sold as his deficiencies in his game, like his puck moving. When you hear, and again, a guy comes in and it's like, oh, he's not great with the puck. Okay, he's actually still like okay with the puck. Like he makes first passes relatively clean. It's a short sample size. I'm sure eventually some other things will pop up, and as I watch him more, you'll notice, different things in his game. But like, I think he moves the puck fine. We heard a little bit that like, oh, he's not great defending off the rush. I think he's been really good defending off the rush. His gap control seems quite good. And I'm not like a defensive expert, but just from my eye test, he does a lot of really things well. And I was saying yesterday, like Dickinson as a forward, and he talked about this himself, like he likes getting under guys' skins and kind of being a bit of a pain in the behind. I see a little bit of that in Murphy, where like, man, it's a shame he's baby-faced, because I think if he had a beard, people would maybe be a little bit more scared of him, but like he plays kind of mean. I remember games where he'd be, jabbing Connor McDavid when he was a Chicago Blackhawk. Like he's got a bit of a mean streak. He's physical. He moves good enough. He moves the puck good enough. And you're right. He's so good at breaking up cycles. And that's something they so clearly needed. It's a sight for sore eyes, so to speak. But the first 3 games here of him as an Oiler, that move is getting an even bigger thumbs up from me. And I was a fan of it when it happened.
Yeah. He's looked good. Dickinson, I think the coach is starting to say, okay, where we use him, you're starting to see him use more and more. The one thing he's not a great face-off guy. Mm-hmm. And that's where I really think Henrique and Lazar are going to come in. And they need him because those guys can win face-offs, and you don't always have to put Draisaitl out for a late face-off.
Yep, I think that's fair. When Henrique's healthy, I would assume he gets his job back over a guy like Szymanski simply for that reason. Lazar, who knows how many more weeks he's going to be out, but that'll actually kind of be the conversation then, is like, what are you viewing that fourth line as if you're Chris Knobloch, once assuming you get to a point where both Henrique and Lazar are available to you? Like, do you want Henrique there? And it's even tough to say he gives you more offense because Lazar's produced better this year. Like, I'm curious to know who they give that 4C job to when everyone is healthy, because again, like, you want faceoffs, do you want the right shot, all of that stuff. It'll be interesting.
Yeah. Hey guys, injury prone goaltender. No way I'm playing him back to back. Rod in the Valley. Rod, that's a very fair point, right? There's a very fair point. And the Condors are playing in Texas on Friday. So they would be close. If you need to call up one of their goalies. If you actually look, Tompkins has probably played better than Pickard lately, but I'm assuming it would be Pickard be the guy who get called up.
Yeah, I would assume it would be Pickard as well, especially because if you were to ever get to a point, if you want to talk about injury-prone goaltending, if you were to ever get to a point in the playoffs where you had to call someone up, you're not throwing Matt Tompkins into that spot. You want Calvin Pickard back. So giving him a game in the NHL, that probably wouldn't be the worst thing. But I don't know, even the injury-prone thing with Jari, it's like, man, if you can't trust him to play back-to-back games because you're so scared that doing it once is going to cause him to get hurt, I mean, you shouldn't have acquired him in the first place if you're that worried about his injuries, right? Like, I don't know. I'm not going to buy that. I think if he's healthy enough to play once, he's healthy enough to play twice, throw him back in there, give him the full heads up even today and say, hey, we might need you in back-to-back games, and roll with them.
Now, why not? Tyler Yaremchuk from Oilers Nation and Daily Faceoff joins us. The Anaheim Ducks, it looks like they're going to be the team the Oilers have to chase for first place. Not Vegas, who is really floundering, but the Anaheim Ducks. And the Ducks have a pretty favorable schedule this month. That was a huge win for them last night. Like, Winnipeg should have been extremely desperate. They need wins. And they got 13 shots last night. And it's not like the Ducks are this defensive juggernaut, but they had 13 shots and lost 4-1 on home ice last night.
Yeah, and I mean, the Ducks are far from a defensive juggernaut. Their goals against numbers over the last 10, 15 games are right down there with the Oilers and the Golden Knights. Like, Anaheim has really struggled to keep pucks out of their net recently. So the fact that Winnipeg couldn't muster up more, especially because I was talking about this today on a few shows, like, I wasn't totally going into yesterday, and I still think I'm there. I'm not totally ready to write off the Winnipeg Jets either. Like, if Connor Halley can get hot and they can rattle off some wins, like, they're not so far out of the picture that they should be waving the white flag already and doing what Toronto's doing and barely showing up for hockey games. So that was disappointing to not get the help from Winnipeg on the out-of-town scoreboard. The Ducks sitting in first place. The other thing, too, with them is they're one of the few teams in the West. I mean, they've won more games than they've lost. They haven't just been racking up overtime wins. It'll be, I think, close-ish in the tiebreaker. Edmonton's 3 clear them in regulation wins, but 3 points back with the Ducks having a game in hand, and the only 4 tough opponents that Tankathon has on their schedule. They got Mini once, Buffalo once, Montreal once, and Ottawa once. They count as tough. The rest of their schedule, it's like 2 against the Leafs, 2 against the Flames, 2 against the Canucks. Like, it'll be really, really hard for the Oilers to catch them.
Well, they don't have to. Well, what about the game? What about the game against the Oilers? Like,
that's actually weird that Tankathon doesn't have that labeled as a tough one in their strength of schedule. But that would be kind of your last chance if you're the Oilers to close that gap. But here's another one for you, Greggs. With how good Utah's been looking as of late, who'd you rather have in round 1? Would you rather win the division and get Utah, or would you rather come in second and get Vegas?
Well, I want to win the division. I want, I want home ice because let's say you win 1 round. Now I don't have home ice for the second round. Like Utah, they're having a good season, but they don't have a ton of playoff experience, right? Vegas has a boatload of experience. And Vegas, with and without Mark Stone, is a vastly different team, right? Vastly. And so Stone's out now, but is he going to be out in the playoffs? I'd still take Vegas. I mean, I'd still take Utah. I think if I had to pick, and, they don't really get that choice, but if I had to pick, I'd probably say I'll take Utah just because they got no experience. And Mark Stone is an absolute gamer for them.
Yeah, and one of the things that, again, wasn't talked about a lot leading up to the Olympics when people were debating about the rosters, like, he's been wildly productive this year. It's not just like the stingy defensive, all that stuff with Mark Stone. Like, he's having points per game wise. It's one of the better seasons of his career. So he obviously was missed on Sunday when they went up against the Oilers. But I think I agree with you. Like, Utah, very talented, very dynamic. Sometimes it can be a little scary to play a team like that who maybe doesn't feel like they have a lot of pressure come playoff time, but I still think I'd rather go up against the Mammoth than potentially, have the Jack Eichel problem and all of that against Vegas.
Ty, quickly, did you see Bam 83 points?
I did. 40 some free throws mixed in there. We were laughing like, okay, what would the hockey equivalent of like a 83 points? Insane accomplishment no matter what. 40 some free throws is insane. Like, is that the equivalent of a NHL player having an 8-point game, but like, hey, 3 of them came with the net empty at the end of the game or something like that?
Well, it wouldn't be empty netter. I'd probably say it might be a few on a 5-on-3, right?
Yeah.
Because free throws. Now he made 36 out of 43. Like, this guy doesn't take a lot of free throws, man. He only averages like 4.5 a game, and he had 43. And if you watch in the third, like, I saw everybody free. Oh, geez, you know what? They're fouling the other team to get the ball back. I'm like, you mean like Wilt's team did way back in the 60s? But they were playing full court press, 3 guys on him, trying him not to score late in that game. Like, he earned his 83 points. I don't care what anyone says.
Well, yeah, that's the funny part of it when they're like, oh, they wanted to get him the ball back. They were feeding him. It's like, yeah, he's chasing history. Of course they're going to do that. And your point about them basically triple teaming him. Washington knew that everyone was just trying to get Bam to score, which made it all the more impressive that he was finding a way to get to the hoop and draw fouls. So again, for now, like in the day and week after it, you debate these like, oh, free throws, does it cheapen it? Your point about Wilt, 20 years from now, we're not going to look back and be like, okay, but Bam's 83 was pretty like whatever, illegitimate, whatever, fraudulent, if you want to say that. We're not going to remember that. We're just going to be like, oh yeah, remember when Bam Adebayo randomly popped off for 83 points?
Quickly, what about the Bills free agency?
I saw they restructured Allen today to free up a bit of space and then spent a ton on Bradley Chubb. Like, he's good. He had 8.5 sacks last year. That would have led the Bills. But a guy at his age to commit $29 million guaranteed when he might have 2 bad knees, that makes me a little bit worried. But the Bills are in their all-in stage. So I think, again, still in their all-in stage. Like, these are the kinds of moves you make. You cross your fingers, hope he's healthy. It worked out for them last year. Like, they took a shot on Bosa, and granted, it was a much cheaper risk there. It was a 1-year deal. They were out of it. But that was a guy who was like always kind of injury prone. He had a good year for them. So I don't know. I'm assuming they trust whatever they got in the medicals, unlike Baltimore with Maxx Crosby. But it's a lot of money for Bradley Chubb, a guy who has been hurt. I think he's missed like 60 games over his 10-year career. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It is crazy. Ty, thanks for this, buddy. Have a good one.
Yep, no problem, Greg.
There you go. That's Tyler Yaremchuk from Warners Nation and Daily Faceoff. Hey, guys, would Pickard be waiver exempt from Tiger? Yes. So when he gets called up, he has to be on the roster for 10 games or 30 days. likely 30 days before he'd have to clear waivers again. So, yeah, it wouldn't be much of an issue. Plus, though, if he's recalled on an emergency basis, then it's not going to matter as much either way. But I'd have to actually look at how that works for the goaltenders for the emergency recall or not. But because Ingram would count if he's on IR, he counts in the roster. So yeah, we'll see. He counts on the cap, but not on the roster. So I don't think they have enough room then to call someone else up. But we'll see. Originally from Knobloch, and the fact the Oilers haven't made any announcement today, I think, they said he's feeling fine. It's just the spotter took him out and said, you're done for the night. And that's all it might be. So we'll come back in the 4:00 hour today. Nick Olczyk will join us. We'll get to some stats of the day, update you on Canada in a huge game right now, coming down to the wire. Can they get to the playoff round? Discuss it next on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Whether it's a house, a gas station, an apartment complex, or any new building going up above ground, the work always starts below ground. And that's where you'll find GS Construction. GS Construction ensures the first step, relocating utilities, installing new ones, and building the underground systems, is taken to make progress possible. But the work can't start without you. GS Construction is currently on the lookout for experienced top men, pipe layers, and operators. To apply, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Hey, Edmonton, did you know a local Play Alberta winner scored over $500,000 on Mega Jackpots Ocean Bells? Think about the season tickets you could lock down with that kind of cash. From major casino winners every hour to jackpots worth millions and hundreds of popular games to money that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up for Play Alberta. Download the app today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. When you gamble, use your game sense.
The Jedi return to Rogers Place.
Saturday night, your Edmonton Oil Kings look to trap the Brandon Wheat Kings in Carbonite for the annual Star Wars game. Catch characters on the concourse for out-of-this-world selfies, Calmont Kids food combos for $10 or less. Plus, the Oil Kings will wear special Star Wars-themed jerseys that'll be auctioned and raffled off in support of Sorrentino's Compassion House. The Edmonton Oil Kings Star Wars game.
Saturday at 7. Great seats at Rogers Place start at only $20 at oilkings.ca.
Edmonton's go-to station for all things sports. It's Sports 1440.
From Low Tide to Kevin Carius and Jason Gregor, we deliver the latest on your favorite teams.
Tune in 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
To Sports 1440.
Japa Machinery Group knows that XCMG may not roll off the tongue, but Japa's team will help keep your construction jobs rolling on time and on budget with heavy equipment sales and rentals. Visit japamachinery.com to find out more.
Getting your vehicle sparkling clean doesn't have to cost a fortune. Take it into Hughes today and pay just loonies a wash.
Find us at hughescarwash.com. Need a new ride for road trips, errands, or just life on the go? Go Auto offers a massive selection with over 15,000 new and used vehicles to choose from. With over 70 locations across Western Canada, finding your next ride has never been easier. Whether it's a roomy SUV for the family, a sleek car for the open road, or a rugged truck for your weekend adventures, you'll find it here at a price you'll love. Explore thousands of vehicles today at goauto.ca.
NHL Star Sticks are back at McDonald's, and we're celebrating by going bigger.
Make that smaller, way smaller than
Collect the set and get one of 7 mini sticks with every NHL Star Sticks meal. Featuring McDavid, Matthews, Quinn Hughes, Makar, Celebrini, Reinhardt, and Montembeau. So get yours while they last. 1 stick per meal purchase. Limited time at participating Canadian restaurants.
Are you overwhelmed by debt and getting nonstop calls from creditors? It can feel like there's no escape.
Debt doesn't have to be a life sentence. A single call can turn things around. My name is Parveen Middleton. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO right here in Edmonton. I can help you become debt-free with a solution just for you. Let's put an end to those calls from creditors together. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to discover your debt-free future.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork, made in Canada, made for Canada, where extreme isn't theoretical. Find your solution at cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.348. Welcome back. Jason Gregor. Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. Hope you're having a lovely Wednesday. It's kind of a little calm. Order fans, 3 and 4. Tomorrow and Friday, they're on the road, Dallas and St. Louis. Both starts around 6:15 Edmonton time. We'll have the pregame show at 5 o'clock both days. Then the Oilers are home. They'll play. They will host 4 games next week at home every second day. So the schedule gets a lot more favorable for them. We've said all along this is the week for the Oilers, and it started well, but can they finish it? That's the key, right? Vegas and Colorado, 2 big wins. Now you got Dallas and St. Louis, and you can't underestimate the Blues. They're playing for nothing, but they've been playing pretty well. Then the Oilers. They come home and they got 3 road games against their first 3 of the 4 home games. Nashville, non-playoff team. San Jose, close, but a non-playoff team. Florida, non-playoff team. Then you have Tampa Bay. Should be a heck of a game. Then 2 days off. Then the next week, they play every second game. They're in Utah on the Tuesday, the 24th, the 26th in Vegas, and then they're home to the Ducks. That's like the Oilers. So you have 8 games between now and the Ducks. You got to stay so you're in striking distance in those games, those 8 games. Stay close, so within 2 or 3. So if you beat the Ducks, you're tied or within 1. I think that has to be the goal of the Oilers. Then they have 2 more days off, and then they take on Seattle, a team that they virtually beat for fun. Then you got Chicago again at home, Vegas. Then they're on the road for 3, Utah and San Jose back-to-back. But they have 2 days off before and 2 days off after. It's not a tough road trip. Then they're in LA, and then they finish off at home, Colorado and Vancouver. Colorado might have absolutely nothing to play for on that Monday the 13th. So we'll see what it shakes out. But the next 8 games for me, I think, is the key for the Oilers. Let's get to our stats of the day, brought to you by All Star Construction, founded in 2009. First, they specialize in power, gas, telecommunication, underground utilities, but also huge in the community. They have a big donation to the Wellspring Alberta House, which is a cancer treatment center, and also helping out with all the lighting for the Claremont Hall hockey rink in Spruce Grove. That is All-Star Construction. So when we're talking stats of the day, we got to start with the game that just doesn't happen very often. So to me, honestly, I compare it to Sam Gagner's 8-point night for the Edmonton Oilers, because Sam Gagner was a player who was not a big-time scorer historically, right? He's not. You know, Sam Gagner, he had 49 points as a rookie, and then he had 50 points one year in Columbus. That was it. That's his career high, 50-point player. I think like his 529 points, I don't even know where that ranks him all time, but I don't even think it's in the top 500. Okay? Good player, really good career, played 1,000 games, wasn't a big time scorer. So when you look at BAM, even guys just to score 70 points are all the guys who are top 50 scorers all time. He ranks 221st. He averages 18.9 points per game. This was not the guy you expected. And that's what makes it awesome. That's what makes it awesome. You had a night. Like, everybody dreams of this. How many people out there? I don't care. You know what? You dreamt of scoring a big goal for your hockey team, a big bucket for your basketball team, a touchdown for your team, whatever it is, right? And, maybe you being a good player on your team, but maybe you come up in the playoffs, and there's playoffs going on right now for a lot of minor hockey, and you have some kid who steps up and scores 3 goals. He had 3 goals all year. Those stories are awesome. And that's what happened last night. Bam comes in and finishes with 83 points. He was 20 of 43 on field goals. Now, compare that to Kobe, because everyone was freaking out. Kobe Bryant attempted 46. Okay? Now, he hit 28 of his, and Bam hit 20 of his. So, you know what? Bam, lower percentage made. Fine. But free throws, you got to, it's if you create the foul, how's that a negative? You still got to make the shots. And he got 36 out of 43 attempts. Pretty special. Really special. You look at by quarter, he had 31 points in the first quarter. Think about that. This guy averages 18.9 points a game in his career. And he came out like a house on fire with 31 points in the first quarter, people. That's one of those nights where you're like, this guy's feeling it. So, like, when I hear people try to discount it, no one was discounting his first. He had 62 points through the first 3 quarters of the game. Everybody plays the Wizards. I don't care who the opponent is. That's irrelevant. You can't downplay the accomplishment. Well, it's against the Wizards. So what? Does everybody else get to play the Wizards? Yeah. Is anybody else scoring 83 points? No. So why does that matter? I don't understand that argument. Well, it's against them. So what? Everybody plays them. Does anybody have 70 points against the Wizards? Like, I'll get Declan to look it up. What's the most points a player's ever scored against the Washington Wizards? At any point, I'd be curious just to know. And I know that they're a terrible team this year, and they haven't always been terrible, but like, when was the last time they've been good? That'd be a really good question. In the fourth quarter, he scored 21 points. Do you know how many Kobe scored when he got to 81? 28. So if we're talking about who was padded, and by the way, that was a blowout game against Toronto, where they were playing no aggressive defense. No other Laker even took a shot in the last 7 minutes of that game. And you're telling me that Kobe Bryant's 81 was somehow more authentic and real? Give me a break. Like, that's such a bogus argument. Bogus. So, Deck, what's the number?
Wilt had 73.
Wilt had 73.
In 1962.
1962.
Tracy McGrady had 62.
Okay.
And then Wilt had a good run, had 61 twice in the early 60s.
All right. So wait, we're talking like McGrady had 62 in one game. Well, Bam had 62 in 3 quarters. That's how good. That's how much he was feeling it last night.
4 less minutes than T-Mac, to be honest with you.
He played 4 less minutes.
Yeah, T-Mac played 46.
Yeah, so there you go.
Wilt was playing 48.
Now, how many did Kobe play the night he scored 81? I know people are like, oh yeah, I wasn't even playing. He was sitting down. Well, I want to know how many minutes did he play. So I'd just be curious. Either way, those are some numbers, man, for Sam Adebayo. And like, I love this post-game press conference. Like, to have a night like that, I don't understand why anybody couldn't be happy. Why wouldn't you be happy for someone? Why do you have to try to downplay it? What benefit does that get you? It doesn't make you feel better. It just makes you a fun sponge. And negativity doesn't fuel you to feel better. It never does. Right? I don't get it.
42 minutes for Kobe.
So basically the same.
Yeah.
Same amount of minutes. And Kobe scored 7 more points in the fourth quarter. So Kobe had 55 points through 53 points through the first 3 quarters, and Bam had 62. So he had a better game up until that point. And then in the fourth quarter, Kobe had 28. He had 21. I can't buy it that, somehow you want to discount what he did here, man.
I don't get how anyone can downplay something only 3 people have ever done.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't downplay Kobe. You can't downplay Bam.
It's the ultimate loser. But nothing. You sound like a fool. You read like a fool, and you come across as a fool online. And last night, I was stunned at how many media members. I'm like, just get your nose out of Kobe's jock for a second, please. It bothers me to no end how many people revere the Mamba mentality. Oh, yeah? Is it a rapist? Right? Read the court case. Okay? Sorry. He did what he did. You can't deny it. It's all there in court. And you know what? Might have done a lot of other good things after the fact. Doesn't change that. So you're going to look at Bam, and as a stand-up guy, I'm probably putting him. Kobe Bryant, great player, better player overall in his career, no debate. But it irks me when people want to start, he's the guy that you should be looking at as a great human being. Sorry. That's a pretty big. Now, we can all make dumb decisions, but there's different levels of dumb decisions. And that ranks very high on the dumb decision for me. You want to forgive it? Fine. I have no problem with that. You can't forget it. And to just erase it and pretend oh my God, he's a saint. Stop. But think about it. That's how our society is. Look at how we view sexual abuse right now. Just how it goes. So yeah, only 2 have ever scored 83. But 3 players have scored 80
3 to
points.
reach 80 is what I was saying.
And 2 to reach 83, Wilt and Bam. And who knows, man? Who knows when someone else will do it? I hope someone does it. I would love to see someone one game in the NHL push for Daryl Sittler's record. I still remember the Sam Gagner night, man. It was crazy. He scored on 4 consecutive shifts. I don't think I've ever seen that at any point by any player live for me. I'd never seen it. Even Sam was kind of what the hell is going on here? It was awesome to see because he wasn't expected to be an 8-point guy, especially in the third period. He was killing it. He had no points in the first period. That's what's wild about him. He had 8 points in the final 2 periods. It's awesome. I don't even care who it is. It doesn't have to be McDavid or Draisaitl or McKinnon or Kucherov. That's who I would guess to think it might be. But even when you consider Daryl Sittler, right? Daryl Sittler, really good player. But Daryl Sittler owns the NHL record for most points in a game with 10. Do you know how many career points he had? He had 1,100. Good career, right? Really good career. He had 100 points twice in his career. Twice. Gretzky had 13 straight. He had 15. McDavid's got 9. Lots of other guys. There were other better scorers than Daryl Sittler, but he had himself a night, and it was awesome. And, I would love to see it. Sam Gagner was the last guy, and that was 14 years ago that we had an 8-point game. I would hope somebody somewhere can get back to it in the NHL. It's just I'm a big believer that the league needs it. For one night, everybody chases it. It's phenomenal. Who wouldn't watch? Who wouldn't be you would turn the game on. You would turn it on online if you could. You would definitely watch the highlights. That I know for a fact. You'd watch the highlights, right? To see somebody chase it. It would just be fun. That last night, if you could have turned on your TV to watch Bam chase 80 points, it'd been phenomenal. So you look at the 8-point games in the NHL. Sam Gagner is the only one to do it since 1988. That's how long it's been. One guy since New Year's Eve of 1988. So since literally January 1st, 1989, it's happened one time. One time. Sam Gagner, of all players. 4 goals, 4 assists, 8 points plus 6. Had 4 goals on 6 shots. And he played 17 minutes and 28 seconds. He didn't play 20 minutes. It was awesome. But, And prior to him, you had Lemieux and then Bernie Nichols, Lemieux again, Coffey, Gretzky twice, Anton Stastny, Peter Stastny in the same game. Trottier, Tom Bladen, Daryl Sittler, Bert Olmsted, Maurice Richard. Like the Rocket had 8 points back in 1944, then Olmsted once in 54, Sittler in 76, right? From 76 to 88, 12, that's when we had kind of like the run of 8-pointers. And now it's been pretty dry. So, man, I just love to see it. Like, think about how many hockey fans have never seen an 8-point game. Lots of you. I like seeing it. Let's get to the comment. And a sports 1440 update brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where the rates never change. No overtime charges. That's how you build a legacy at legacyheating.ca.
The Sports 1440 update.
So light night in the NHL, 2 games on the schedule. Canadians and the Sens. Flyers host the Caps. Both games starting at 5:30. Forward Nick Schmaltz re-signing with Utah Mammoth, agreeing to an 8-year contract extension worth $64 million rather than trying out for agency in the summer. Schmaltz, 30 years old, second on the team in scoring with 59 points in 64 games in the association. Tonight, the Raptors in New Orleans taking on the Pelicans. Tip-off 6 o'clock. You also get the Jazz and the Knicks, Rockets, Nuggets, Kings, Hornets, and the Magic hosting the Cavaliers. The Baltimore Ravens have agreed to sign free agent defensive end Trey Anderson after pulling a week from the trade with Maxx Crosby. Further reports, 4 years, $112 million for the 31-year-old, and the Buffalo Bills signing defensive end Bradley Chubb to a 3-year deal worth $43.5 million. Down at Rogers Place today, the Oil Kings knocking off Wenatchee 6-1 in their annual Hockey Hooky Day. Tonight, Bonnieville takes on Fort Mac in the AJ puck drop at 7, and in the PWHL, Seattle hosting Boston just after 8. Right now, World Baseball Classic, top of the 9, Canada leads Cuba 6-2 with the runner on second. No outs. The winner of this one advanced to the quarterfinals in Houston. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
What a performance by Action Electrical today. Their projects team kicked things off, designing and building with unmatched skill.
Then the service team swoops in for those crucial repairs and maintenance. And don't forget the testing team, ensuring everything's safe and sound before the solar team scores with sustainable energy.
A complete team effort. Have Action Electrical bring home a win for you and your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Facebook. You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring.
Sixth inning in Canada
lead. Your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Oodle Noodle origin. In 1864, Francis Oodle took over his dying father's business as a leatherman. He was quite proficient, but his heart was never truly in the trade. After his father's death, Oodle met a connoisseur young man named Vladimir Nudel, who was a trailblazer in the popular new art of food boxes. They formed a partnership and aimed to ply their trade in the new world. At Ellis Island, Nudel was renamed David Noodle, and henceforth, the franchise has been known as Oodle Noodle.
From the locker room to your radio, Sports 1440 is Edmonton's sports leader. Real talk, big personalities, and your texts. It's interactive. It's fun. It's where Edmonton talks sports. Sports 1440. Excavators, loaders, lifts, compaction equipment, and more. Find the XCMG construction equipment you need. Available for rental or sale at Japa Machinery Group. Japa, helping build Alberta from the ground up for 50 years. Visit japamachinery.com.
Planning your next event? Let Loca Quality Market cater. From made-to-order meals to gourmet platters to full chef tasting experiences, they make entertaining effortless. Visit loca.ca to start planning today.
Remember 2025? That's so last year. But seriously, St. Albert Dodge needs to clear some 2025 models off the lot to make room for new inventory. So they're having a huge clear out of all the remaining new 2025 Jeep Wrangler Saharas. The Sahara package is the best seller, so they have a great selection to choose from and priced from as low as $59.9. I don't have to tell you, these are going to go fast. So get there before they are gone. Just head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
It's the iconic Jasper Ave Patty Party. That's on the rocks.
We're turning Jasper Avenue green.
Your 5-day St. Patty's Day party kicks off Friday at OTR.
With live entertainment every day.
Including the Feelin' Lucky burlesque show on Sunday.
Plus pipers, Irish dancers, and doors open at 9 a.m. on the 17th.
We got more green beer than Marco has fancy shirts. And trust me, that's a lot.
Lucky the Leprechaun will be there.
Will you?
It's the iconic Jasper Ave Patty Party. That's on the rocks. Next round's on me. Woohoo!
Being a living organ donor is a noble, life-changing act. But there's more than one way to be a hero. Join the Living Donor Circle of Excellence. As an employer, you can give the gift of time and remove financial barriers to make employee donations easier. You'll earn recognition, a raised corporate profile, employee satisfaction, and of course, be a huge part in saving lives in desperate need. Support the sacrifice of living donors. Discover how to join the Living Donor Circle of Excellence program today at kidney.ca.
Bashaw Concrete Products. From concrete and septic tanks to blocks, precast water pads, Jersey barriers and aggregates. Farmers, contractors, homeowners. Plan your next project at BashawConcrete.com. Family owned, over 60 years pouring. Bashaw Concrete Products. Once again, start here. BashawConcrete.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. From weekend warriors to professional athletes, kids playing soccer to grandparents in the garden, rotator cuff tears and tendonitis to post-surgical knees and hips. We fix your body. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
The Jason Gregor Show. The best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 4:00, we continue on. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. Hope you're having a lovely Wednesday afternoon. Of course, only light night in the National Hockey League. Go only 2 games but it's a big one. Ottawa taking on Montreal. The Senators have been scratching and clawing, trying to get their way closer to a playoff spot. They have a game in hand. They're 5 points back of 8th place Boston. This is a huge game tonight for the Senators. Now, they're 7 back of Montreal. Montreal's pretty comfortable. But if the Habs, you win this game in regulation, you put yourselves 9 up on Ottawa with 18 games remaining. That's a pretty good position to put yourself in, right? Because if you're Montreal, you say, okay, let's go on 9-9. Right, that gives us 18 points. Then Ottawa's, and if I look at regulation wins, well, Ottawa actually have the tie. So Ottawa would need 27 points in their last 18 games. Not, something like you got to go 13-4-1. So plausible, but harder. So this is a huge game for Montreal too. You could look and say, hey, we can almost unofficially eliminate another team. And then the only other team that could potentially knock them out would be, Columbus is the 9th place team. And then they got to get passed by Boston, passed by Detroit. So big game for Montreal tonight. And they're going with Fowler, the rookie. That's how far Montembeault has fallen. This guy was on the Four Nations. Well, we could debate whether or not he was deserving of it or not last year, but that's where he was. And that's where some people viewed him. And now here we are just 13 months later, and he can't even start in a back-to-back situation for the Canadiens. The goaltending position, man, I say it all the time. It is one of the most volatile, predictable positions, unpredictable positions in sports from year to year. The guys who can find consistency at that position, good on them. Good on them. Gregor Show always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. And hey, guess what? Gregor Show Odds Boost, of course, it involves the Sens and the Canadiens game. Then I also got a little Raptors and Clippers for you to engage in if you like at PlayAlberta.ca. Coming up, Later on, Nick Olchek will join us. The Utah Mammoth, potential first-round matchup for the Edmonton Oilers, potentially, if the Oilers win the division. Utah looks pretty well. They're not going to finish any higher than 4th in their division, and right now they have 73 points. They're actually 7 points up on the Sharks, 6 points up on the Kraken and the Kings for the first wildcard spot. But Kraken have 2 games in hand. Kings have 1 game in hand. So they're not there yet, but I like Utah's chances to finish as the number 7 seed in the Western Conference. So we'll talk to Nick about that. We got a lot of texts to get to, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Also, Cons, we should mention the youngster, young tennis phenom, Victoria Mboko, won again. She is now ranked 9th in the world in tennis, and she's only 19 years of age. She is kind of burst onto the scene last year, Cons, and has just, it wasn't like a 1 month run of greatness and fallen off. She's just continued to get better and better. She is, she's gained like over 360 points in the world rankings in 1 calendar year.
Yeah, got past number 6, and there's Mofa Amanda yesterday, straight sets, pretty impressive. And then tomorrow, going to take on the number 1 seat, Sabalenka, one of Declan Kruger's favorite female athletes out there.
Oh,
number 2.
Yeah, how could you not be?
Top 2. But yeah, it's incredible. Remember, she went on a heck of a run last year. We were all like locked in for that one, and keeping it going. It's awesome to see. Indian Wells a big tournament too.
It is a really big. It's like, I don't know if it would be it's close to the major. It's not a major, but it's one of the bigger tournaments on the tour. So good for her. Hey guys, I saw Buffalo won against last night. Has a team ever had multiple 10-game winning streaks in the same season? Yes. I think a team, I got to go back. I think Boston or Montreal might have had 3 10-gamers. I got to go back and look at that. But yes, I know it's happened multiple times. I don't know if it's happened 3 times. But the Sabres are rolling. If you listen to the post-game comments out of San Jose last night, just like, we just couldn't keep up. Like, they were just relentless, were the Sabres. And they have now moved 4 points up on Tampa, but Tampa still has 2 games in hand. And they're 2 points back of the Hurricanes for first in the Eastern Conference. Like, they could go from dead last after 25 games. They were dead last in the Eastern Conference. And here we are now, 40 games later, and they are second in the Eastern Conference, first in the Atlantic. It's been an unbelievable, unexpected turnaround for the Buffalo Sabres. Hey, Gregor, what do you make of the standings? Is the Pacific Division really that weak? Yes, in the regular season it is. But, and I think it's a big but, when I look at it right now, if the playoffs started, which teams in the East would I say would I be confident would beat Edmonton in a playoff series? Tampa Bay, and that's where the list ends for me. I wouldn't be overly confident that Carolina is like a lock to win. They could win. Yeah, anybody could win. But would I give Carolina a huge advantage? No. And now I haven't seen a report yet on Nikolai Ehlers, who left the game last night, and it did not look good. Hopefully, it looked way worse than it actually was. But the Buffalo Sabres, God, I really like their team. But the playoffs are a different beast. They just are. The games change. It's harder. They don't have a ton of experience. Would I have the Sabres ranked heavily in front of the Oilers? No. Montreal, definitely not. They got too many small forwards. Pittsburgh, no chance. The Islanders, no. Boston, definitely not. The Detroit Red Wings, no. So the teams have had better regular seasons, yes. But if I was ranking right now today, top 8 Stanley Cup contenders, Colorado, Dallas, Minnesota, Tampa Bay. I'd have Buffalo in the 8. But I'd also have Edmonton because you got McDavid and you got Draisaitl. And the Oilers, this is who they are. They're a team that pisses you off and underachieves in the regular season. That's what they do. And then they get better in the playoffs. They've shown it time and time again. They'll even show you that they can be terrible for 2 games. Give up 2 games in a series, which is what they did to LA. And then say, okay, now we're going to buckle down. It's not a great strategy. It might eventually bite them in the butt. But that's who this Oilers team is. So, yes, the East is better. But you know what's interesting about it? I sure didn't hear all the same people in the East who ramble on about it now. They sure were crickets last year, right? When you look at the Calgary Flames, the Calgary Flames would have finished 7th in the Eastern Conference last year. They didn't make the playoffs. I didn't hear anybody say, oh, my God, geez, what a joke. I can't believe New Jersey and Montreal are in the playoffs. So terrible. No, it was crickets, right? It's crickets. There was 3 teams with 100 points in the East last year, and there was 6 in the West. Right? And they try to talk about, oh, yeah, but you know what? Toronto had a tougher schedule because they had to play Tampa in the second round, which, of course, they didn't. They played Florida. Either way, doesn't matter. Wow. Like, the East media whines a lot. And it's comical because I hear them talk about, oh, it's embarrassing that you got a team that these guys wouldn't be in the playoffs and this and that. And I'm like, okay. But you all were crickets last year when the Calgary Flames had 96 points. 2 ahead of the 9th place team would have easily made the playoffs there. Right? And by the way, the league isn't over yet. So at the end of the season, if the Pacific Division is still that bad, you can say, hey, in the regular season, the Pacific Division wasn't that good. All right. I'll buy it. But do I think the Boston Bruins are that much better of a hockey team than the Edmonton Oilers? Honestly, do you? I don't. I really don't care that they have 6 more points than the Oilers. Right? That doesn't make them a better team in my eyes. It's a regular season. The Oilers have been a frustrating team who show you that they can self-destruct better than anyone. And they might do it again in the playoffs. That's why I could see if people don't have confidence in the Oilers in the playoffs because they have a tendency to self-destruct. Valid. But on pure skill, when the Oilers actually decide to play, they're a better team. They are. Canada, speaking of better, well, this is their best result at the World Baseball Challenge. They are into the playoffs. They just beat Cuba. So congratulations. Now, could you imagine, Cans? If Italy and Canada make it and the U.S. doesn't make it, oh, God, that'd be fantastic. I'll be rooting heavily for Italy to win or Mexico to win a low-scoring game. That would be awesome. Hey, Gregor, some guest in your station said Utah would be the favorite versus any Pacific team they would face. Oddball. Do you know which guest said that? Because I would love to debate that. Because all you're doing is you're going off of the regular season. And now some people say, well, what else do you go off of? Okay, but why is Utah has 1 more point than the Edmonton Oilers? 1 more point. Why would anyone think they're a clear favorite over the Edmonton Oilers? In what reality? I like their young players. But why would they be a clear favorite? Honestly, just give me the reasons. Well, because they're higher than them in the standings by 1 point. So that makes them a clear playoff favorite? Doesn't make any sense. Well, we'll talk about Utah next with Nick Olczyk on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Edmonton, did you know a local Play Alberta winner scored over $500,000 on Mega Jackpots Ocean Bells? Think about the season tickets you could lock down with that kind of cash. From major casino winners every hour to jackpots worth millions and hundreds of popular games to money that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up for Play Alberta. Download the app today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. When you gamble, use your game sense.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. March Madness is finally here. If you've been waiting to get into a new or used vehicle, now is the time. This is a mega sale. Plus, the grand opening of our all-new Autoplex, a massive indoor showroom. No iPads, no patio sets, no trips to Vegas. Just a good deal. So stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
Action Electrical's projects team takes the field, folks, ready to execute the entire play for new commercial builds.
Absolutely. They're masters of design build, sketching strategy from initial blueprints to core electrical infrastructure. The team never misses on complex projects.
Known for handling big league constructions and major renovations, ensuring flawless execution, hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Noodle noodle nood noodle nood noodle nood oodle noodle nood. Noodle noodle nood 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 oodle noodle nood oodle nood oodle nood. Noodle noodle nood noodle nood noodle nood oodle noodle nood. Noodle noodle nood 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 oodle noodle nood. Throw the load down to Oodle Noodle tonight because dine-in is open.
Hot coffee, hotter takes, and the sports stories that matter. Check out Kevin Carrius weekday mornings from 7 to 11 on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440. Be part of the conversation. 833-401-1440.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
I'm tired of waking up tired. Waking up tired. Waking up tired.
Are you tired of waking up tired? Come visit our sleep experts at the Brick Mattress Store. Get Canada's guaranteed lowest prices on all things sleep. Plus, try your new mattress for 6 months. If you don't love it, we'll find one you do. Some conditions apply. Stop waking up tired. Get the right mattress guaranteed. Only at the Brick Mattress Store.
Commissioner Allen Auctioneering's Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Heavy Truck Auction is this Thursday at 9 a.m. with tandem and single axle trucks, including tractors, decks, dumps, man lifts, plows, vacs, pickers, refuse, and shunt trucks, plus more. Info at maauctions.com.
For 50 years, the Selby Group has been building trusted homes and strong communities. This year, we're celebrating that milestone with special events and anniversary promotions you won't want to miss. Discover Hillshire by Selby Group, beautifully designed homes in a community built for the way you live today. And coming this spring, move-in ready spec homes will be available. Your new home is waiting. Celebrate 50 years of Selby Group at Hillshire. Visit selvygroup.com or stop by Hillshire today.
Commissioner Allen Auctioneering's 3-day Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Equipment Auction is this Friday at 9 a.m. featuring backhoes, dozers, digger derrick, forklifts, man lifts, wheel loaders, skid steers, telehandlers, turf mowers, plus commercial trailers and more. Info at maauctions.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. The Oilers' push to the playoffs is on, and OTR is ready to be your hockey headquarters. $5.75 Molson Canadian, 69-cent wings, and play, score, and win every game. See more at OnTheRocksYEG.com.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
$4.25. If you just missed it, yes, Canada, big win. Moving on. Now we wait to see what happens tonight. Italy and Mexico. Who doesn't like a little fun upsets, man, in tournaments? It's great. It's great. So good for Canada. First time for them. This is the deepest they've gone. Get into the last 8, and now we'll see. Once you're in one gamer, anything can happen, baby. Anything can happen. Hey, Greggs, what's Buffalo's record in their last 40 games? Well, since December 1st, they have 30 wins, 8 losses, and 2 overtime/shootout losses. 62 points. The next closest team, 54, the Hurricanes and the Wild. Not bad. Well, Colorado has 53, and they've only played 38 games in that span. So they could be at 57, theoretically. But the Sabres have been very, very good since December 1st. Really good. Now, let's go around the NHL. Brought to you by McDonald's, where you can stop in at McD's right now, and you get the NHL Star Sticks. They are back. Also, for those of you in Sherwood Park, the 590 Baseline Road location was closed. They're back open. So stop in and say hello, and you get the McValue menu for only $5, and you can get maybe one of your favorite little sticks. They've got McDavid, Montembeau. Funny enough, that one's probably not a bad seller right now. Probably not a great seller. Guy can't even get in the lineup. Somehow he's one of the 7 sticks. There you go. Now let's go to Utah, where the Mammoth have put themselves in a very good position to make the playoffs. They are currently sitting with 73 points in the number 1 wild card spot. They are 6 points up on the second wild card team, Seattle, and also the San Jose Sharks, who sit in 9th, and 7 up on the Los Angeles Kings. And also earlier today, one of the last of the dying breeds, the 8-year contract is 8 times 8 for Nick Schmaltz, as Nick Olczyk joins us, voice of the Mammoth. And Nick, I guess let's start with another Nick in Schmaltz, and an 8-year deal in Utah. One of their pieces, obviously Cooley's the main guy when you look at his big-time deal. But what do you make of this contract? Kind of, one of the last guys to squeeze out an 8th year.
Yeah, it's a very exciting day here in the great state of Utah, and really for Mammoth Nation all around the world. And great to be with you, Jason. It really a monumental shift when the organization came here to Utah under the guidance and governorship of Ryan Smith, as well as his wife, Ashley. Truly, and now very evidently, investing in players, not just for the short term, but for the long term as well. And I think it's important to also call out some of the other contract extensions that have been made with this team. Dylan Guenther, long-term deal that was done last season. Karel Vejmelka, 5-year contract extension signed last season. Logan Cooley, 8-year deal signed this season. He's the $80 million man. And then, of course, Nick Schmaltz today, 8 for 8. And I think this just speaks volumes to what's going on here in Utah. All you got to do is look at the standings. This team has been uber competitive this season. They've got their sights purely set on making their first postseason berth as an organization. But for Nick Schmaltz in particular, I'm very happy for him. And I'm from the Chicagoland area, and Nick Schmaltz grew up playing AAA travel hockey in that same area. And so I had a lot of battles against Nick Schmaltz back in the day. And yes, his team steamrolled my team many a weekends. But on that team, I should also say that Chicago Mission team in the 96 birth year, you had Nick Schmaltz, you had Christian Dvorak, who's a Philadelphia Flyer. Also, William Nylander was on that team as well. So they were stacked, and Nick Schmaltz's bank account going to continue to get a little bit more stacked. But just what he means, Jason, to this group, he's played with Clayton Keller for the last 7 years. They've been nearly inseparable on a line. But just this season in particular, for those that may not know, Logan Cooley missed 28 games. He's been mainly the number 1 center for the team this year. But when he went out, Nick Schmaltz then got promoted to the top line. He got moved into the middle. And boy, oh boy, has he ever been unbelievably impressive at the center ice position. And he's played center. He's played wing throughout his career. But continuing to put up the numbers, already a career high in goals. He's going to smash his prior career high in points by the time the next 17 games are played before the end of the year. But for every goal, for every great play he makes, there is a defensive beauty or two that you could put in replacement there. So he's been outstanding at the 200-foot game, and a contract well-earned and well-deserved.
They have a pretty, solid, forward group. You got Schmaltz, you got Keller, Dylan Guenther, former Edmonton Oil Kings, already got 30 goals this year. You mentioned Cooley. Then they got JJ Peterka. You've got Hayton. You got McBain, who I really like. Krause, big. So you've got a good mix of skill guys, bigger bodies in Krause and McBain. Give me your thoughts just on Dylan Guenther. And I think this guy's got a legit shot down the road to be a 50-goal scorer.
No question. And look, I think he is not far off from being a perennial 40-goal scorer. Jason, I would co-sign what you're saying. I think he could absolutely be a guy that flirts with 50 every year, but definitely a 40-goal scorer year in and year out. And look, he's always going to be known for that elite shot that he has, especially from the Ovechkin circle, on the left circle on the power play, which he has been extremely dangerous and has consistently been ranked towards the top of the league in terms of one-timers taken, also one-timer shots on goal, as well as goals. And I think sometimes we become a little bit too mesmerized with the shot. And look, that's why he's making a lot of money. But to me, it's the feet, the legs, and the brain that are just as responsible for that shot, because he has such a great knack for finding open space and just drifting away from traffic. And the Utah Mammoth had probably their worst loss of the season last week at home against the Chicago Blackhawks. They got thumped 4-0. And after that game, head coach Andre Tourigny decided to switch up some lines, put some in a blender, and he moved Dylan Guenther up to the top line with Keller and Schmaltz. And since then, those guys have had a goal in every of those 5 games except one since that game where the Mammoth were shut out. They also got shut out last night in Minnesota, which was end of a 5-game road trip. They got 7 out of a possible 10 points, so a stellar trip nonetheless. But for Dylan Guenther, he will be a guy that scores a lot of goals in his career, but because it's the brain that seems to always put him in the right spot to get open. And when you're playing with an elite playmaker like Clayton Keller, you can also say the same for Nick Schmaltz. You want shooters playing with both of those guys, and it has certainly paid off so far. And then the last thing I will say in this question for Dylan Guenther, coming into this year, when he was asked what his goals were, other than scoring a lot of them, coming into this season for his game offensively, he said he wanted to get to the inside more. He didn't want to just rely on his wrist shot, didn't want to just rely on the one-timer. And that has been very evident this season, scoring a lot more goals around the blue paint. So there is a real drive and determination for the guy that wears number 11 for the Utah Mammoth. And I don't think there's any reason why he can't get to 40 with 17 games remaining for the Utah Mammoth this season.
Nick Olchek joins us talking Utah Mammoth. When everybody's healthy, who do you like? Guenther plays with Schmaltz and Keller. Who are the ideal wingers to play with Cooley?
Boy, oh boy, I have loved that when they have put Cooley with Peterka on one wing and either Lawson Krause or Jack McBain on the other.
Okay.
And Jason, watching these guys every day, not just games, but morning skates and practices, there are not many players, and I of course we can think of a few, that really demand the puck like Logan Cooley does, and to have the speed that he has through the middle of the ice. There aren't many guys that can keep up with him, let alone keep him in a confined space. According to NHL Edge, I read this nugget the other day. There's, at least when I read it, there was only one player in the league that had eclipsed a faster maximum skating speed than Logan Cooley, and he's in your neighborhood up there wearing number 97. So let's just pause and look at the numbers. This kid can absolutely fly. So you need players that can keep up with him and can make plays at full speed. And I think JJ Peterka is one of those guys. He's eclipsed the 20-goal mark yet again. He's been solid on the second power play unit, but he is one of those guys that can keep up with a guy like a Logan Cooley. And then on the other wing, I think Jack McBain is one of the more underrated players in the league. Jason, I love that you mentioned that you love him as a player. Not just the size, not just the fact that he's 6'4", but he leads the Mammoth in hits. He can contribute offensively. Obviously, you know what you're going to get from him in terms of the physicality and a guy that's going to go camp himself out in front of the net and create space for a guy like a Logan Cooley, whether it's setting picks or the intimidation factor out there on the ice. So you pair a speedy winger on one end and then a guy that's an immovable object at times on the other. You're cooking with gas, but there is no question that Logan Cooley is the future of this team up the middle, and has been having a great season despite having missed 28 games due to a pretty nasty lower body injury.
Former Oiler Tyler Yaremchuk, who has battled some injuries.
Love him.
Is up and down. He's got 9 goals in 43 games. You kind of prorate that to a full season. That's like a 17, 18 goal campaign for him. I know he's gone goalless now in 10 after having 5 goals in 5 games. But, he kind of moonlights, it looks like, between kind of the third and the fourth line. Do you think he's solidified himself as a regular down the stretch and into the playoffs?
I do, Jason, and I hope so. Look, I had a chance to watch Tyler Yaremchuk when I was a part of the broadcast team with the Seattle Kraken, and so now I'm really getting a chance to watch him closely for my second season. At least being on the same team as him and covering him, and honestly, okay, maybe the production lately hasn't been there, but the one thing that you guys know is that he is always going to give 110%. And by that, I don't mean in the cheesy, sentimental way, I'm just going to go out and buzz around. There are not many better puck retrievers and puck hounds that I've seen watching hockey than Tyler Yaremchuk. I mean, yes, he's 5'9", but there are nights where he looks like he's 9'5". And his willingness to go to the tough areas, but also the ability to, yes, fly between the third and the fourth line. But then you know what? If there's someone not getting the job done in your top 6 or there's an injury, he is more than capable of playing in your top 6 because he has the skill and he has the finish and he's got the good quick shot to be able to beat goaltenders and play at top pace with some of the league's better players, like we saw him up in Edmonton there with Connor McDavid a couple of years ago. But he has really been a seamless fit, whether he's had a brief look on the second power play unit or getting a chance up in the top 6 or the bottom 6. He is noticeable every single night. And you can't say that for every player in the league. Some guys, if it's not going right offensively or the puck's not going in, you can't find those guys with a search warrant because they absolutely disappear. But with Tyler Yaremchuk, whether he's scoring or he's not, he is such a difference maker and an impactful guy because that he's going to win some puck battles for you. And he's going to create offense. And if the offense isn't there, he's going to be very reliable defensively. And I think that's one of the reasons why head coach Andre Tourigny has trusted him, yes, and hasn't been able to take him out of the lineup.
Nick Olchek joins us. We're talking Utah Mammoth. Of course, Nick Schultz signed an 8-year extension for $8 million. One of the final players, of course, you're allowed 8-year extensions up until September 15th, and the new CBA kicks in. And then after that, it'll be a max of 7 years for your team and 6 for a free agent. The blue line of your team now, Sergachev. What's his status?
Yeah, still out, lower body injury. It sounds like day to day right now, and you've missed him the last couple of games here. He's missed 3 games. The addition of Mackenzie Weegar, which I'm sure we'll get into, has eaten up a lot of those minutes, and also a guy not too unfamiliar to those up in Alberta, Nick DeSimone, former Calgary Flame, has been an immense presence on the back end, coming in and out of lineup. So he's been in as well with the injury to Mikhail Sergachev. But Sergachev is a huge part of this blue line, but just dealing with something right now. He's been without him. The team's been without him for the last 3 games, and hopefully getting him back here soon. But he has been on the ice, Jason. He has been at the morning skates. And I'm sure everybody's hoping that he can get back into the lineup tomorrow at home against Chicago.
Okay. Because obviously with him out of the lineup, like he's your number 1 defenseman. And any team, I don't care who it is, you lose your number 1 defenseman. There's a trickle-down effect. And you can handle it for a few games, but I think eventually it becomes. So it's not a long-term thing that's good for Utah. They're in a pretty good position, so you definitely don't want to rush him back. But I was curious about that. It's only been a few games. How's Mackenzie Weegar fit in, and where do you think ultimately he's going to slot into that defense core?
Yeah, I think on any team, he's a top 4D. I really do. And you look at some of the advanced numbers, and the one that really stood out to me was successful outlet passes. Last season, he led all defensemen in the league. I think this year he's either 1 or 2. And that's got to be very exciting for Utah Mammoth forwards. Because when you're getting a guy that can move the puck into their hands quickly, feeding the transition the other way, that is exactly the position that you want in a guy as a forward, especially a winger. You look back and you see a guy that's going to get the puck to you quickly in a hurry, allowing you to go play offense. That's a real luxury to have. And in his first game, led the team in not only distance covered on the ice, but time on ice as well. So there hasn't been a slow process of implementing him into the D-corps. Mackenzie Weegar has been thrown into the deep end, and he is not only treading water, but swimming beautifully. And how do I project him? I think he's going to be a top pairing defenseman for this team. But Jason, you look at this D-corps, and look, I know some people will say you're just saying this because the team cuts your check 2 times a month. But I think if you really look at the Mammoth D-corps and you compare it to the rest around the league, I think it is for sure a top 10 D-corps in the National Hockey League, and even top 8. Puck-moving defensemen, especially on the right side. John Marino, who has had an unbelievable partnership with Nate Schmidt. That pairing in particular, which slots in as the second pair for the Mammoth, no other D-corps in the league is a better plus-minus at 5-on-5. So just let those numbers speak to it. But then you look at the right side. Sean Durzi, good, hard, puck-moving defenseman. Don't think he gets enough credit for his defensive game and willingness to block shots. Mackenzie Weegar, we already talked about the numbers with his ability to get involved offensively. John Marino there as well, and also Nick DeSimone as a guy that hasn't only been a depth guy, but has been counted on to produce some offense. And then the left side, bona fide number 1 defenseman in Mikhail Sergachev.
Mm-hmm.
Nate Schmidt, who's been around the block a couple hundred times, Stanley Cup champion last year. He's fit like a glove. And then you have the ultimate team guy, penalty killer, shot blocker, and Ian Cole as your third defenseman on the left-hand side. So there's experience there. There's mobility. There's puck movers, and there's guys that can really kill plays and stymie and frustrate the opposition. So I think this D-corps has been formulated in a real stellar way from general manager Bill Armstrong, and it is a real strong suit alongside those great forwards, especially the young forwards that we've talked about so far.
Yeah, and they got some young defensemen coming. Dmitry Simashev, Maverick Lamoureux. Yeah. Those are 2 guys I think down the road are going to help them. But Weegar and Sergachev are likely your top pair. Then you mentioned Marino and Schmidt. And then if you got Durzi and Cole as your third pair, it's a pretty solid. And they don't, like, obviously Sergachev plays the most. But after that, there's not much separation when you look at the allocation of minutes for those other guys. Cole's at 18-25, and Weegar, since he's come there, is at 20. Schmidt's at 20. Durzi's at 20. Marino's at 20. It's all pretty even.
Yeah, and then that's going to be so helpful for this team going down the line here. And then look, not every team has a Quinn Hughes who's playing almost half the game. He's playing 27 minutes a night. But if you have guys that have been around the block, they've won, they've been in the league a long time, like Sergachev, like Marino, like Cole, like Schmidt, so on and so forth, that's only going to help this team, especially come the playoff time, because the Mammoths have put themselves in one hell of a spot in the top wildcard position in the West.
Awesome stuff, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for this. We'll talk to you again, Nick.
Keep up the great work, Jason. We'll talk to you soon. Best of luck.
I bet you. There you go. That is Nick Schmaltz joining us from Utah. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. I always think it's a good idea. You heard Shaquille O'Neal earlier today, and now he says he has the utmost respect for hockey players. He said, you know what, as athletes, you sit on the couch and you watch a sport, you're like, man, I could do that. And he's like, I think maybe I could skate forwards, but it's the turning on the edge and other that stuff that's hilarious. Well, he says that. And you have Terrell Ford goes on the ice, and the Elks just put out a video of it. Oh my God, you got to see it. Like, he's pretty fun. And he is a very good athlete. But it just shows you, like, the skill to skate is a very unique skill set, right? And you should watch that video. Oh, if you want to chuckle, we might have to tweet that one out. But it's pretty comical, man. I like it. I'll take a quick break. We'll come back with 5 questions on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Need a new ride for road trips, errands, or just life on the go? Go Auto offers a massive selection with over 15,000 new and used vehicles to choose from. With over 70 locations across Western Canada, finding your next ride has never been easier. Whether it's a roomy SUV for the family, a sleek car for the open road, or a rugged truck for your weekend adventures, you'll find it here at a price you'll love. Explore thousands of vehicles today at goauto.ca.
Mr. Rooter kinda speaks French.
Je m'appelle Monsieur Rooter. Je suis plombier.
Très bien, Mr. Rooter. Your name is Mr. Rooter, and you are in fact a plombier, a plumber. You are an excellent student.
Au contraire, mon frère, je suis un excellent étudiant. Also, I'm not here for a French lesson. I'm here because someone clogged up the toilets.
Ah, oui, right this way.
For a plumber who speaks your language, call Mr. Rooter.
NHL Star Sticks are back at McDonald's, and we're celebrating by going bigger.
Make that smaller, way smaller than ever before.
Collect the set. One of 7 mini sticks with every NHL Star Sticks meal, featuring McDavid, Matthews, Quinn Hughes, Makar, Celebrini, Reinhardt, and Montembeau. So get yours while they last. 1 stick per meal purchase. Limited time at participating Canadian restaurants.
You see it? Fusion Promo Marketing can make it. Fusion makes high-quality, memorable promotional products for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. From vision to reality, get noticed and remembered. Fusion with a Z. Promomarketing.ca.
Struggling to find skilled workers? What if you could fill your talent pipeline with motivated, pre-vetted youth and receive funding to support your efforts? At Careers the Next Generation, we connect Alberta employers with interns in skilled trades, IT, agriculture, forestry, and more. All WCB covered, high school accredited, safety trained, and ready to contribute from day one. With 83% of RAP students continuing their apprenticeships after high school, investing in youth today means securing your workforce for tomorrow. Don't wait. Visit careersnextgen.ca to get started.
Who's that working on the underground utilities over there? All-Star Construction, that's who. What about the street lighting? Yep, All-Star Construction. And the directional drilling, hydrovacking, neighborhood renewal, and telecommunication work? Yep. Since 2009, All-Star Construction has been doing all that and more, shaping and building Edmonton communities for land developers all around Edmonton. That's what All-Star Construction is all about.
Every Selly. The place to cheer on your favorite team is Selly's Sports Bar and Lounge. Never a bad seat in the house, with all games on tons of big screens. And Selly's menu, top shelf. Plus, check out the game night food and drink features. And don't miss the excitement of Oilers watch parties all season long. Experience Selly's Sports Bar and Lounge at all 3 Century Casino locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
Every day is game day at Century Casino.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Did you know that Japa offers in-house and on-site service? Rain or shine, Japa Service Department is here for you. Get a quote now at japamachinery.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$450. So we continue on Sports 1440. How you doing? One of the stories to watch is going to be Maxx Crosby. So he was traded to Baltimore. Well, so they thought. Failed the physical. Then they negate the trade. And then the Ravens signed Trey Hendrickson from Cincinnati. Now, Hendrickson's comment was he thought he was going to be riding mano a mano with Maxx Crosby. So who knows? Maybe the Ravens looking. Now, it's kind of surprising to me. I'm guessing that they thought he was behind schedule in his rehab. Everybody knew he had surgery on his knee. That wasn't new. So we'll see where it goes. The Raiders are still asking for 2 first-rounders. Something tells me they might have to settle for a first and a second. We'll see how it goes. But as it gets closer to the draft, they probably lose a little bit of their negotiating power in a trade. So that'll be something to watch for. If you missed it, Canada in the World Baseball Classic, they have won. They are moving on, baby, to the quarterfinals. You got Italy versus Mexico tonight. If Italy wins, USA is out. If Mexico wins by scoring 4 runs or less, USA is out. The only way USA moves on is if Mexico wins by 5. Or sorry, not wins by 5, just scores 5, I should say. Just scores 5 runs. So kind of an odd one. We'll see. Now let's get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick, where right now you can get over $300,000 in prizes to be won. Mattresses, sofas, big screen TVs, appliances, and more. Stop in at The Brick this Saturday as The Price is Right live. Part of The Brick.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Jason, question number 1. Would you say last night's win for the Oilers over the Avs was their most impressive victory of the season?
No, I don't think so. It's the latest big win for them, but in that stretch in December, they had some really dominant victories where they were clearly the best team on the ice, and it wasn't even close. So I don't think it was the most dominant victory. I'm not sure if he's even the most important, but it was big because it was against Colorado, gives them a little confidence against a team at the top, but I'm not going to say it's their biggest win yet.
I'll say it was, and it's recency bias for sure, but just going through kind of some of the adversity that they had to, losing a couple guys, and then Tristan Jarry getting out there, holding off the Avalanche. And I know Nathan McKinnon didn't play in the third period, and that made things a little bit easier, but coming off the win against Vegas, then going into Colorado, doing the same thing, and holding them to 3 goals, I think it was really impressive, and I think it's good for the confidence. So, like I said, it could be recency bias, but I think so far, I'm going to give that as the biggest win. Question number 2 for you. On a scale of 1 to 10, how confident would you be in Tristan Jarry if he did have to carry the load for a little while, assuming Ingram had to miss a little time?
How confident would I be? 5.5.
You're a hair above me. I'm at 5. I still need to see it. One game was great. Little, nerve-wracking at times, but yeah, for me, I still need to see it before I'm any more confident than that. Question number 3 for you. You talked about it, Crosby with the Raiders and the Ravens. Any shady business there, you think, for the Ravens, or you think that's just, good football management?
Well, it's a great question. I don't know, because I don't know exactly what his physical looked like. And, there is a history of them failing a guy in a physical before, and that guy went on and played for other teams. And what was it? He was a defensive player, starts with an M. I'm forgetting his name right off the top here. But anyway, so now it all depends, like, what's your guidelines on what's failing, right? Was he not ready to play today? Yeah, but I think they probably knew that. So there's a little bit of a guess. Now, depends what you believe. Trey Hendrickson said, hey, I was on the understanding that I was going to play with Crosby. That would be a pretty good duo. Do they need both? Can they afford both? Is it a good way to spend money? It's a fair question. So it does. I'll say this. You could have failed him and believed you failed him and then just said, okay, now what are we going to do? We're going to change to the next option. And that's Trey Hendrickson. So I don't know if it's shady. If he truly failed it, then it's fine. I get the optics maybe, but optics aren't always reality. They're just optics.
Yeah, I mean, when you guys told me yesterday, like right when we were leaving, the news broke. I could not believe it. And I was just kind of thinking the ramifications. Like the Raiders probably had this in their mind. They had $30 million extra of cap space to spend.
Yep.
They're doing so for the Ravens. Like you thought you had this happening, so you weren't as active as you might have been on free agency. I don't think it's shady. I'm assuming there was somewhere in there saying pending a physical. And although I think that the Ravens should have known that he would fail a physical, he couldn't have had surgery that long ago. That was there for a reason. So I don't really love it. I thought it was going to be a really fun trade to see what would have happened. And the idea of Crosby and Hendrickson running from the same ends or different opposing ends would have been outstanding for that Ravens defense. But kind of think at the end of the day, it's business, and it's just kind of sucks sometimes. Question number 4 for you. In honor of the Italians beating the U.S. at the World Baseball Classic, what would you say is your favorite upset of all time?
Go ahead.
I was just remembering back to when I think it was during COVID, we did Upset Week on the show. And we had the player that was a part of the Appalachian State victory over Michigan. And I remember that one. So for me, that's high up there. But I also got to think, shout out Strutty, his Giants beating the Patriots. For someone who hated the Patriots and Brady as a youth, it was quite nice. So those two top the list for me.
Well, the one I remember, just because I was the David Volek when the Islanders, like the Penguins had won 2 cups in a row, and they were dominant in 93. And they lost to the Islanders in 7 games. So that one, I'd probably have to say that's the one that stands out the most to me. The other one, obviously, I'd have to go with Buster Douglas, right? Like that. It looked like he was dead in the water, and then he comes back and wins. So,
final question for you today. Johnny Knoxville turns 55 years old. Were you ever a fan of Jackass? And if so, did you have a favorite stunt or prank they did on the program?
I have never witnessed one episode of Jackass. So can't have a favorite of something I've never seen. They're like movies to Connor. That's what Jackass is to me. Never seen it.
For the most part, I'm like you. I never watched the TV show. The bodily functions things they did, I was never a fan of, but I did watch part of the movie where they did the high five, and it was just a huge hand, and it was slapped people as they walked through the doorway, and they got someone to hold soup and do it. It was hilarious. So that would be probably one of my favorite little shticks that they had. But like you, there's a lot that I haven't seen.
No, I couldn't even tell you. Like, I'm sure our listeners would know like top 5 funniest ones. Right? I'd be curious what they were. So, hey guys, what about FIBA 2006 when Greece defeated USA with LeBron, Wade, Chris Paul, Bosh, Howard, Carmelo, 101-95 in the semis? Oddball, good one. That's a really good one. So, like it. Coming up, Mark Spector will join us from Big D, Dallas, where the Orders are. Travel day today. They will take on the Stars tomorrow. No announcements today from the Orders, which now Emberson, if he can't go, they could play Stastny. Jari's starting in Dallas, I think almost for sure. Just because even if you the concussion protocol comes through, you go through the concussion protocol and it clearly just doesn't mean that you come back for the third period, right? So hopefully that's all it is with Ingram, and you can give him an extra day's rest. Then he can play in St. Louis if you need be, or maybe Jari plays both. Wouldn't be the first goalie to go back-to-back. Wouldn't be the worst thing in the Amber. It's like if he has a solid game and they know that Ingram could benefit from some more rest, I could see it happening. Possibly. Maybe. I'd still lean towards Ingram playing, but just saying, you never know. Let's get to Mark Spector. Spec Report. Let's get to Connor Halley and a sports update brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC March Madness. It begins on the court in a bit, but it's already started at Northgate GM. Now, there's no you don't get to win a McDavid jersey, or you don't win a special car wash. You just get a good deal. NorthgateGM.com.
It's a light night in the NHL. 2 games on the schedule at 5:30. Sens, Canadians, also Capitals taking on the Flyers. Off the ice, the Utah Mammoth paying Nick Schmaltz on an 8-year extension for $64 million at age 30. He's second on the team in scoring with 59 points in 64 games in the association. The Raptors in New Orleans tip off 6 o'clock. You've also got the Cavs and Magic. Jazz host the Knicks. Rockets in Denver. Kings host the Hornets, and the Timberwolves taking on the Clippers. Canada beat Cuba 7-2 at the World Baseball Classic. With that, they'll advance to the quarterfinals in Houston, waiting on their next opponent. From the NFL, Baltimore Ravens agreeing to sign free agent defensive end Trey Hendrickson after pulling out of their trade with Maxx Crosby, per reports 4 years, $112 million for the 31-year-old. And the Buffalo Bills signing defensive end Bradley Chubb to a 3-year deal worth $43.5 million. In the WHL, the Oil Kings knocked off Wenatchee 6-1 in their annual Hockey Hooky Day. Tonight, Bonnieville takes on Fort Mac in the AJ. Puck drop at 7. And in the PWHL, Seattle will host Boston just after 8. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet. We'll look around the NFL with Dalton Wasserman of Pro Football Focus, and hear another edition of Cam Tate's 2-Minute Warning. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Oh, geez. Connor.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Elks Nation. Check out the new website, elksnation.ca. Articles, podcasts, and more breaking down the green and gold. The most in-depth W football coverage online, elksnation.ca.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by playalberta.ca.
A big game tonight, boys and girls, as we head down the stretch just over a month away from the NHL playoffs. And the Ottawa Senators, who have scratched and clawed their way to get close into the race. This is one where if you want to keep as many teams in your sights, including the Montreal Canadiens, you got to win this game. You have to. You lose tonight, and that's one other team that you can't catch. And then you're down to Detroit and Boston, because you can't catch any of the teams Pittsburgh or the Islanders, because you can't get into the second or third in the Metro. So that's why it's a big game for Boston. You want to keep as many options open. Meanwhile, if you're the Montreal Canadiens, you win tonight and you pretty much punch your ticket to say, hey, we don't have to worry about Ottawa. Now we're down to, Columbus catching us. Or, well, obviously Boston, Detroit would have to pass you at the same time. But it's a big game for both those teams. And at the same time, the Washington Capitals, who have a very slim playoff chance because of they played more games. But if they keep winning, so you're telling me there's a chance. It's very slim. I wouldn't put Washington in the priority, but they'll probably think they have a chance. Why not? So all that's going on tonight. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca, and the Gregor Show specials do include those games tonight, so you might want to check it out. PlayAlberta.ca gets some of the odds boosts going on there. Oilers are in Dallas to take on the Stars tomorrow night. And will Emerson play? Will Doc play? Will Ingram play? I don't think Ingram's going to play. I'm pretty confident Ingram's not playing. I think Jari's going to play regardless. And we'll find out on the others. Is Adam Henry closer? Can he go in for Doc? We'll find out. Stastny could go in for Emerson if he can't, if he isn't ready to go. So with them playing back-to-back, usually the coach likes to get all guys involved anyway. So I think Stastny was going to play one of the two games anyway. He just might get in the Dallas one. So we'll see. Talk to a guy who's in Big D, Mark Spector, as we get to the Spec Report now, brought to you by GS Construction, as they're looking for experienced top man pipe layers and operators, or even just looking for somebody who wants to start a new career. Check it out, gsconstruction.ca, and look up careers. As Mark Spector joins us from Dallas. Spec, good evening. How you doing?
Not bad, but I'm in the Big E, not the Big D.
Oh, you didn't go to Dallas. You came back.
I came home from
those two. Oh, smart. There you go.
Whatever. Lots of travel ahead.
Yeah.
So I did come home today, but what a fun place Denver was to be last night. Holy cow.
Fast game, right? Obviously, it was not the great start that the Oilers wanted. Another deflected goal in off their own guy for Nurse. That's 3 in 3 games for him. Kind of unlucky. But
yes.
The Oilers, they didn't wilt Spec, right? Like they could have said, oh, God, here we are. We're in Denver, and it's, altitude, yada, yada, yada. But they clawed back. It's 2-2 or 1-1. And then they have to claw back again on Roslovic's goal to tie it. And then I really thought in the second and third that they controlled a lot of the game.
Yeah, no, they full marks to go in there on the road and face as much adversity as they faced in that game. You're right. First goal against, you end up, they score in the first minute on you, you score in the last minute on them. It's 2-2, right? Start losing guys. You come out of the first intermission, you don't have Emerson anymore. You don't have Doc anymore, boom. McDavid's dealing with something. I don't know what it is. I mean, on one hand, he only took faceoffs in the first period. On the other hand, he fired home the winning goal. So you tell me what's wrong with him. If he doesn't appear to be shooting as much, but we've also seen McDavid go through streaks where he just doesn't feel like shooting much. So I'm not sure what's happening there. But no, full marks to win in that building against that team in that situation. That game's going to last a while for this Oilers team for sure.
Well, big game. But now you go into Dallas and you got to recoup. Now, before the game, Spec, what was your thoughts on the McKinnon play?
To sum it up from 30,000 feet, I'd say that it deserves more than a 2-minute minor, but it doesn't deserve a getting kicked out of the game. Like somehow in the middle. Is that a double minor? Is it just a straight 5-minute penalty? I know that the refs can't call that. I don't buy a lot of the stuff I'm hearing. I don't personally think that Nurse had much to do with it at all. I think that Ingram was falling forward and was going to fall right into that guy who was not skating through the top of his crease, but skating through the middle of his crease.
Bingo.
So I'm not telling you that I don't really believe that they should have thrown him out of the game. But people say no penalty or maybe 2 minutes. No, you can't erase my goalie like that and get a 2-minute penalty and then come out and start playing again. That's not right.
Yeah. What
did you think?
Well, I thought I didn't think they'd make it a major, right? Because I could see the argument. Did Nurse touch him? Yes. There's no debate that he touched him. But like you said, like he was going in there and I watched it and slowed it down. And his skates were in the crease, in the middle of the crease before contact from Nurse. Now, then the contact from Nurse clearly gets him off balance. But guys take contact all the time.
Did it get him off balance?
Yeah, well, not off balance, Spec, but it moved him slightly. But I agree with you. It didn't move him like 2 feet, right? It moved him a few inches.
2 inches.
Yeah, he was already going through the middle of the crease. He was never it wasn't like, you know how the crease is rounded and he was just skating through the top part of it. Like, no, he was right in the middle of the crease. And that's why I think he got the 5 in the major, because of where he entered at the angle that he entered the crease.
Yeah, Ingram, there's nowhere for him to go. Like, this is deep in his crease. This is in the net half of the crease. So if this happens at the top of the crease, there's probably a little leeway. But so anyway, listen, it's a tough call for the refs. I mean, that there's a goalie that's not going to play again. You tell me, I have not seen a goalie get a compression cut, even from a shot, with these new mask cage combos that they have. The last time I saw a compression cut like that, Jason Gregor, I was standing there at a morning skate when Mike Vernon walked off the ice for the Calgary Flames. He used to wear that old Cooper helmet and cage, and he took a shot in the forehead, and it opened up a big compression cut in his forehead. And these new masks, that compression cut almost doesn't exist anymore. And that's how hard and how squarely Nathan McKinnon ran into Ingram. He blew his forehead open. Like, I haven't seen a goalie bleeding under his mask since I can't remember the last time. Can you?
Somebody took a puck off the mask and cut him, but I can't remember when it was. But you're right. It's extremely, extremely rare. And I think that was part of it. That showed you the severity of the collision.
Oh, it was a huge collision. I haven't seen a goalie get run. And this isn't me saying it's Nate's fault or he tried to or he's vicious. It just happened in a game. I haven't seen a goalie get hit that hard since Lucic hit Miller. Like, goalies don't get hit that hard. And it was a awkward, tough, hard. Like, the fact that he didn't come back didn't surprise anybody.
Yeah. At the same time, the coach did say afterwards, hey, I thought it was concussion protocol. The spotter is what kept him out more than anything else. So, they haven't made an announcement today, which, I think Jari's playing either way. It just gives him an extra day's rest. But what about Emberson or Doc? Like, Doc's the one that didn't look great. Like, the minute when he went to the bench, you're like, that wasn't good.
Okay, I didn't really see Doc. I saw Emberson look like it was a wrist. He jammed his wrist or something. I never really saw what happened to Doc. People, you got to know that, like, I'm not watching Gene Principe's broadcast there. I get the American broadcast and the home team broadcast. So when an Edmonton guy gets hurt, they don't fish through the video to find the incident the way we do at Sportsnet. So sometimes you people at home get a better view of something like that than I get when I'm in the rink. And certainly with Emberson, or I should say with Doc, I just noticed he wasn't playing. I never even barely noticed he got hurt.
Yeah. Well, it was right on the wall. And the way he got hurt, the way he went down, to me, those plays, like, sometimes the plays, Spec, when it looks harmless, those are the worst ones, right? Sure. Like, you watched Nikolai Ehlers last night. Nikolai Ehlers and I remember talking to a doctor who said sometimes the pain response, when it's so quick and direct, it's like, oh my God, ow, and you're rolling around. A lot of times those ones end up not being overly serious, funny enough, because it's such a massive one, like it, to your nervous system, and then you get over it. And then sometimes it's one where you see a guy and he just kind of goes over and it's like, oh, and he's dragging himself to the bench. That's one where it's like, ooh, that could be a deep one. So I hope I'm wrong on Doc, but just the way he left the ice and he kind of went limp right away, I was like, oh, not good.
Well, I saw him sitting in the dressing room last night when we were doing interviews. He was sitting there in street clothes chatting with guys. I had a quick chat with Henrique, who made it sound to me like he's ready to go. He did not say I'm playing tomorrow, but he sounded like he's ready to get back here real quick. And he laughed. He said, oh, yeah, I'm trying to get treatment in the room, and these guys keep coming off. They keep kicking me off the table and putting some other guy up there. So it was a busy night last night for the Oilers trainers. In the end, Jay, like, there was a couple of moments in that game when everybody's top unit was out there that reminded me a little bit of Milan. Like, the puck was moving so fast in that game last night. That was, when both teams were playing well, that was as highly executed a regular season game as you're going to see.
Well, and it was big for the Oilers. The thing about the Oilers is their pass execution, the offensive zone, was top notch. Like if you look at their goals, like look at all the 4 passes: Nurse's pass to Nugent Hopkins, Draisaitl's to McDavid, Draisaitl's to Roslovic, McDavid to like they were all great passes, right? Yeah. In the defensive zone spec, the only element of the Oilers game, like man, they had chances to get the puck out and didn't get it out, and then now they bent but didn't break, and then they recovered by blocking a lot of shots, including 7 by Wallman.
Yeah, they struggled against Colorado's forecheck. It's a good forecheck. Like they're quick and they're on you, and you got to be able to make plays at such a quick pace. 3 short passes till you can find a guy that has a little time to think, right? And guys don't always make those plays. The thing where you defend, and then just chuck it out to center and try to get a change in, and meanwhile Colorado's coming right back at you full bore. That's not how you want to deal with Colorado. Like you talk about effective execution of passing in the offensive zone. If you want to beat Colorado, you got to have the same thing in the D zone. And, if you don't, you just keep tossing it back out to them at center ice, and they just reload and come back at you. And you're probably not going to survive 60 minutes doing that.
Yeah, no, that's fair. So now they move on to Dallas. Beck, it's 2 pretty solid defensive games for the Oilers. Murphy and Dickinson have done exactly what I think they wanted them to do, right? They're not flashy players, but they can defend very well. Now, they weren't on the ice a lot in the final 2 minutes, which I know some of that had to do with icing. I get it. But I was a little surprised by that. I'm not going to lie. And I think in Dickinson's case, because he's not a great face-off guy, but I would still have him on the ice because even Draisaitl's a great face-off guy. He doesn't win every face-off. I want guys on the ice who, when I lose the face-off, I still can rely on them defensively.
Can really defend. Yeah, I'll give you that. And they did. They got in a little bit of a hole where they iced it about 3 times, and it was the same guys out there all the time. They couldn't make a change. So, hey, listen, you know what? It's not going to be an easy win. It's not easy to defend. It's not going to look perfect. In the end, I don't think that Jarry had any giant saves to make with the goalie pulled, frankly. I'm trying to think back, but, the puck was down there. There was some pressure, but I thought Edmonton's playing a pretty good brand of defense. We can pick apart their zone exits, sure, and we can tell them to play different guys, okay, but I think they're defending pretty well. They're giving their goalie a chance in the nets, and that was a big night for Tristan Jarry last night, man. Like, it could have gone one way and it could have gone the other way, and if it would have gone the other way, it would have been an awful tough morning for him today. So good for him. He put the big boy pants on, and he produced for his teammates yesterday.
But I thought, honestly, in the third period, that's maybe the most confident I've seen him. Like, he came in, you never know what suddenly changes the direction for a player. You never know what it is, because a lot of it is confidence. And I think that save in the end of the second period coming in stone cold. Ooh. And honestly, that could be the turning point, right? Like, it sounds very simple, but it might be. Now he goes to bed. He's like, hey, I got a big win. Not that he's looking at the numbers, I wouldn't think, but hey, allowed 1 goal. We got a big win. I made some key saves. Now I suddenly got a little bit more confidence. You feel a little bit better about yourself. And now it goes into Dallas. And the good news for the Oilers, there's no Rantanen or Hintz in the lineup tomorrow for Dallas. They're good, but they're not nearly as dangerous without those two. And if there was ever a time to beat them, tomorrow's the time in the regular season. To beat them in the playoffs, but in the regular season, that would be good.
No, I watched a good chunk of that game last night. Ottinger was really their best player. He was exceptionally good against Vegas. It was a 2-1 game that Vegas probably deserved at least a point. So, hey, listen, what kind of runs Dallas on? Like 12-0-1 or something?
12-0-1, yep.
Yeah, so
they beat Vegas by getting outshot. They beat them 2-1 and got outshot 27-16. Like, you know how at the end of streaks, even Colorado, right? They only had 20 shots. Like, you can start to see it sometimes when you're just like, okay, the streak's coming. There are signs that maybe it's coming to an end for them, and maybe the Oilers could actually win 3 in a row for the second time in the year. So
certainly Edmonton's in a place. They're bringing in their A game and they're confident, and really just liking Edmonton's defensive game. Like, the goalies were good last night, and Colorado just applies such pressure, but they didn't have to face 45 shots. They didn't have to face 17 grade A's. I didn't see 2-on-1s and breakaways last night, right? I didn't see any breakaways and 2-on-1s for Colorado, out of the ordinary. So they're giving their goaltenders a chance to be good, and now it's up to the goaltenders to deliver and be good. And so far, that's what they're getting. Let's hope for Ingram's sake. I guess we're going to find out, because they will have to call up Cal Pickard.
Yeah,
right.
But they're going to Texas on Friday. So funny enough, the
Bakerfield is.
Yeah. So he would be close by if they need him.
Now there you go. If they're in Austin, that team's in Austin, I believe. And Austin, Dallas is a flight, but a short one. So there you go. It'd be kind of fun to see Cal Pickard again, to be honest.
Yeah, well, maybe. It was interesting, though. And you were there, Spec. Knobloch after the game. We're going to need him for one, if not both, in the back-to-back regarding Tristan Jarry. So
Tristan Jarry can play 2 in a row.
Yes,
if he's playing well, why not? He hasn't been overworked here. Right? I got no problem playing a goalie in back-to-backs. Like, all the players play back-to-backs, whatever. So if it has to be, it has to be.
Yeah. Spec, we'll talk about Dallas and the lineup and more tomorrow. Have yourself a great day.
Hey, thanks, Jake.
There you go. It's Mark Spector, the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction. We'll come back, update you in the early games of the National Hockey League, and also, man, the craziness that's going on in the National Football League. On the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 heating and cooling company for people who want heating and cooling, because you'll save a bundle by bundling. Then you can use hot, cold, hot, cold. Come on, thermostat, do what you're told. Turn up the heat, turn up the cold, so the vents start pushing out tornadoes. Bundle my furnace with some AC. Gonna get a deal from Legacy. Oh, yeah. Save a bundle when you bundle your new furnace and AC from Legacy today. Plus no payments and no interest for 1 year. That's how you build your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
A pizza from Papa John's is already pretty great. But you know what's even better? 2 pizzas from Papa John's. For a limited time, get a medium 1-topping pizza for only $6 when you order any large specialty pizza at regular menu price. Whether you're feeding your family, your team, or yourself, get your next meal from your locally owned and operated Papa John's with a $6 1-top medium when you order any large specialty at regular menu price. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
Who's that working on the underground utilities over there? All-Star Construction, that's who. What about the street lighting? Yep, All-Star Construction. And the directional drilling, hydrovacking, neighborhood renewal, and telecommunication work? Yep. Since 2009, All-Star Construction has been doing all that and more, shaping and building Edmonton communities for land developers all around Edmonton. That's what All-Star Construction is all about.
Start thinking spring road trips and off-road trips in your new Subaru Crosstrek. Stylish, rugged, and so many features. Standard on every Crosstrek. Subaru symmetrical all-wheel drive, EyeSight driver assist technology, heated seats, and LED steering responsive headlights. Plus, with interest rates from 0.99%, you'll love the affordable weekly payments. No waiting, immediate delivery available. Subaru Crosstrek. Visit Subaru.ca. Welcome to Uncommon. Welcome to Subaru.
Debt can take over your life. The stress, the constant worry, it can feel like you're drowning. When people come to see me, they're often anxious and feeling hopeless. But when I explain how I can help them get out of debt, those feelings melt away. I'm Parveen Middleton, licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. I will create a personalized debt relief plan so you can move forward with confidence. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to discover your debt-free future.
Big guests, bigger takes. Jason Gregor brings the names you know and the stories you don't. Weekdays, 2 to 6 on Sports 1440. Don't miss a minute of the action on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440.
Are you looking for an affordable business, group, or team outing this season? Why not catch the excitement of a game with the 5-time Junior Hockey League champions, the Spruce Grove Saints? With extremely affordable group and suite packages available and some of the lowest food and drink prices around, Saints games are the perfect night for your next group event. Get your group in on the action. For more information, visit sgsaints.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Culligan. For all your residential water needs, your local water treatment company, more than just big bottles, Culligan.com.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Rolling through Wednesday afternoon. Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. It's always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Casino, live dealer, lotteries, instant sports, all in one place, including Lotto 649 tonight, $44 million. Get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca. A little bit of a light night in the National Hockey League, 2 games, but both meaningful, especially the Ottawa-Montreal game, and Washington clinging to very, very slim hopes of making the playoffs. They are on the road and need a win over the Flyers. Meanwhile, the Senators, they need a win. The Canadians could pretty much eliminate them from catching the Canadians, at least, in the playoff race if they can get a win. So that's happening tonight. Now, it's another busy day in the National Football League as we get to our NFL report, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Home of the no payments, no interest for 1 year on your furnace. Stay warm all winter. LegacyHeating.ca. And there's lots of news and notes around the NHL. Dalton Wasserman joins us from Pro Football Focus. And Dalton, let's start with the big story because it doesn't happen very often. But you know, the Raiders thought they had a trade with the Ravens. They get 2 first-rounders. The Ravens get Maxx Crosby. And then it breaks yesterday that, guess what? The trade's over. Maxx Crosby failed the Ravens physical. And then today they signed Trey Hendrickson. A lot of people are like, oh, this is shady. I'm not. 2 things can happen, and it doesn't mean that, you know, they're automatically connected. Maybe he did fail his physical, and then they decided to say, well, now we need a defensive end, so let's go get one. What did you make of that whole situation?
Certainly the NFL is never short on drama, right? And we knew that Maxx Crosby, and it was part of the debate of why he was kind of unhappy with the Raiders organization, is he felt like he was healthy enough to play and the Raiders didn't. And that's really what kind of started this fight and possibly him getting traded anyway, right? So, I mean, there's certainly the drama between Crosby and the Raiders. Then you have the physical itself. And it's just funny to me that Trey Hendrickson turns around and gets a contract that is basically exactly the same as Crosby's, because they already knew that's the size of contract that they could fit, but they get their 2 first-round picks back. And I found it interesting today, too, that their GM, Eric DaCosta, came out and said, hey, we were trying to pair Crosby and Hendrickson together, which then would have made you know, maybe the best pass rush tandem in the league, to be honest with you. But just so many dimensions to it right now. Where do we go with the Raiders possibly keeping or still trading Crosby? How much leverage have they lost? Can they get the same price? Who might be a suitor that could jump in on it? I mean, it just shows you that in every dimension, the NFL is just never short on drama, right?
Yes. What about the Raiders? Are they going to still be able to get that package? Do you think there's a team that will offer up what the Ravens offered?
I don't think so, because, I mean, there was already – we knew there was at least something of a medical issue, obviously, with Crosby's knee that he was recovering from, had surgery to repair his meniscus, and now it's on paper that at least one team now, you know, he's failed the physical, and that's an issue when trying to acquire him. So I don't think they will be able to get the 2 first-round picks they were looking for. And credit to the Raiders. They waited it out. They got several offers, and they got the best one the first time around, and then it just didn't pan out. So now I think you're back to kind of where you were, say, 2 or 3 weeks ago, where they don't have to trade him. They have enough cap space to keep him. The money is not an issue. He's still obviously a great player when he's healthy, and your football team is better with Maxx Crosby on it. And you look at everything they've added on their defense, well, all of a sudden it looks significantly better than it did, say, to end the season. So I do think there is a chance still that he could get traded, but I go back to my stance on this from 2-3 weeks ago. They don't have to. They don't have to do anything. They can keep him and just say, you know what, we're going to repair this relationship, and Clint Kubiak's going to try to get Crosby to play for him this year.
Do you think it's repairable?
It sounds like it is. It might just take some time. And also, again, a new coaching staff led by Clint Kubiak might make the difference here. I know he had bigger issues possibly with John Spytek and the organization trying to hold him out at the end of the year. But that's also a part of just him and his elite competitiveness, right? He wouldn't be the player that he is without it. He wants to play through the pain no matter how the season is going. So obviously that's a disagreement they're going to have to work through. And, he's making enough money. He's making near top tier money, as a defensive end. He's still a great player when he's healthy. And the Raiders, again, they have some level of leverage here still. They don't have to trade him. Their salary cap doesn't say, oh, we have to get out of this contract. They don't feel like they're stuck with him, right? If they have to play with Maxx Crosby, I think they'll be perfectly happy to do so.
Looking around the league, what have you made of the Bills and that Chubb signing today?
I think it's a risky one. I know the Bills have a habit of finding aging veteran edge rushers, right? Von Miller previously, Joey Bosa this past year, now Bradley Chubb. And look, he missed all of 2024. He wasn't great in 2025 for the Dolphins. Really nothing went right for the Miami Dolphins down there. So he's looking for a shot to add to this defense. The Bills are looking for some immediate defensive help, a veteran pass rusher that can get in that rotation and likely at that money start alongside Greg Rousseau there. And they still have a lot to fix in the middle of their defense. I do think there's some risk that comes with it because the injuries looks like they've taken Bradley Chubb kind of out of his prime a bit. But if they can get him to play at least relatively good football alongside the rest of that defensive line and continue to build the middle of their defense, then it can be a good signing.
Free agency is always tough to say, okay, this one's really worked, because sometimes the best signings aren't the biggest ones. But what did you make of the Walker to the Chiefs? And how much do you think he's going to be a major bell cow for them?
Yeah, he certainly is. I mean, the Chiefs had one of the least explosive run games in the league really over the last couple of years, right? Relying on kind of a lesser version of Isaiah Pacheco after his injury a couple of years ago. Kareem Hunt doesn't give you the explosiveness. I mean, the best runner on their football team really was Patrick Mahomes, and the fact that they didn't have a run game put way too much pressure on him to carry their offense. Kenneth Walker, as long as he's healthy for 17 games, he's the exact type of back and the exact type of explosive back that can bring balance to your offense. That's what Kansas City really needs. There's a couple holes on their offensive line they still got to fix, but I absolutely love it. I thought if Walker was going to leave Seattle, the two places that I thought he could go were Kansas City and Denver. The Chiefs ponied up. Andy Reid wants a run game again, and he's going to get that with Walker in there.
What do you make, though, of the defending champs? Because I don't know if Charbonnet will be ready, and he's just not as elusive as Walker. They're going to draft a running back?
Probably, but you're not going to, in all likelihood, you're not going to get a guy as immediately productive as someone who just won a Super Bowl MVP and carried you through the playoffs, right? I'm a little confused a bit by the Seahawks approach here. Now, I like them re-signing Josh Jobe at corner, but the two guys that I would have prioritized if I was Seattle are Walker and Kobe Bryant. The safety, Bryant, goes over to Chicago too. So you've got holes at running back and safety, and they could still make some improvements to their offensive line as well. But letting Walker go, with the context of also paying Rashid Shaheed $17 million a year when he only caught 18 passes, I believe, in 10 games for them, was a little odd to me. I think it's just a positional value thing, and John Schneider feels like, okay, I value receivers and corners more than running backs and safeties, but Walker, to me, would have been priority number one to try to keep if I was them.
Was there a signing that you've really liked for a team thus far?
I absolutely love at the value that they got Devin Lloyd going to Carolina for $15 million a year. They needed a leader in the middle of their defense. They're still building the defensive line. That process really started last year, and they got Jalen Phillips now too. But linebacker has been a major issue for them for multiple years. Devin Lloyd was our third highest graded linebacker in the NFL this past season. He fixes their coverage over the middle of the field. He's super athletic. He's gotten better as his career has gone on in the run game. I think they got an absolute star in the middle of their defense. Devin Lloyd, to me, going to Carolina, the combination of talent, need, and value makes that honestly my favorite signing we've seen this week.
Now, I haven't looked in depthly at schedules, and I think last year we saw that the NFL schedule can impact a team's ability to play better, and good for them. Like that's why they have the schedule that way. Is there, I don't know if you're going to have anybody do what the Patriots did, but is there a team, Dalton, when you look at schedules, you think, I think this team wasn't a playoff team last year, is going to get back in the mix this year?
Oh, I'd have to. Oh boy, I'd have to take a look. I haven't dug in on the schedules and all the combinations of opponents yet, but maybe a couple of teams. I'm trying to think of a bounce back here. I mean, I know the NFC South. I just mentioned Carolina. That's always wide open. I'm really curious to see, because we have to remember the Detroit Lions finished in last place in the NFC North as well. So you might be talking about a team there that gets a last place schedule and can maybe bounce back a little bit. They need to fix up their offensive and defensive lines a little bit more than they have. But I do wonder, the Lions, I don't know the entirety of their schedule, but they're going to get some last place opponents in there, despite the fact that they finished 9-8 and they still have a lot of talent. I wonder if the Lions could be in for a bounce back in, once again, what could be a wide open division.
Well, I love what you said about the Lions, because I look at, they lost their coordinators. And everybody's like, well, yeah, you lose your coordinators, and, it was a big loss. And okay, that's fair. And then I look at Denver, and they just lost their, is Denver the Detroit of this year?
I think is there another one? I believe they have yet to sign an external free agent. They bring J.K. Dobbins back. You're going to have Bo Nix coming back off the injury. I'm a little surprised, them too, that they're not going a little more all in, considering how close they were even without Bo Nix to going to the Super Bowl and having a shot to win it, right? So I'm surprised they haven't been as aggressive. I don't know that they would miss the playoffs outright. They won a lot of close games last year. They set the NFL record for sacks in a season. So they're going to need still some improvement on offense, especially in the run game, I think. But I mean, it's entirely possible, especially in the AFC right now. It is wide open, man. I mean, you have there's only maybe 2 or 3 teams in the AFC that you really couldn't convince me have a shot at the postseason. But Denver certainly is going to be in that mix, especially if their defense keeps playing the way it does.
Dalton, it's been fast. Is there any free agent left out there that you think would be a really good value deal to sign now?
I'm a little surprised that Rasheed Walker, who's been the left tackle for the Green Bay Packers the last couple of years, I'm surprised that he's still out there, because you're talking about maybe not the best tackle in the league or anything, but you're talking about a starting caliber player that I think several teams, especially if he could flip over to the right side, they have a need. Carolina and even Cleveland on the left side. I think about Arizona needing a right tackle. Starting caliber tackles don't usually last very long on the market, right? Especially if you just need a 1 or 2 year stopgap. That's the guy that I'm looking at. That, look, everybody's looking for offensive line help, and any starting caliber offensive lineman, those guys get jobs the next season, and Walker is certainly that.
Okay. Any idea why you think he hasn't signed it?
I start to wonder, between him and Taylor Decker, who was released from the Lions, I believe today it was probably made official. I start to wonder about that Trent Williams situation in San Francisco and how many teams are monitoring that, because that's a game-changing move. If Trent Williams were to leave San Francisco with the contract dispute, and I mean, you're going to have almost every team in the league lining up, at least checking in to see, hey, can we get this guy, especially contenders? There's been talks of Kansas City. I think Detroit would check in. I think Carolina might check it. I mean, there are so many teams. Trent Williams is still a top 5 tackle in the league. So maybe you've got both the players and agents and even the teams just holding serve right now on the tackle market, waiting to see what happens with Trent Williams.
Awesome stuff, Dalton. Really appreciate it, man. Thanks so much for this.
Absolutely. Appreciate you as always, Jason. Thank you.
There you go. That is Dalton Wasserman joining us from Pro Football Focus. And it's been a crazy week, the National Football League. So, you see a lot of the different reports about how the Ravens felt like, after talking to the doctor, that they're worried about the strength 3 years down the road. Well, we're going to get Grant Fedoruk on about that one, Collins, because I'm just like, really? How is that going to tell you for sure what's going to happen 3 years down the road? What test was it? I just want to know, right? Because it hadn't been completely healed yet. So how do you know? I'd be curious about that. So that's going to be my question when we get old Grant Man on, that, something like that. Because that was a rather interesting report that came out from Diana Rossini. So that was, I don't know, Cons. It was kind of interesting to me to be like, oh, that's what the reasoning is. Like 3 years down the road, that's a pretty big projection, is it not?
3 years, yeah. How do you get that?
Yeah.
When he's 31, you thinking he might slow down a little bit?
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
Probably. Yeah, probably. He probably slow down a little bit. I mean, this guy's an absolute animal. Hard to say what's going to slow him down. He gives it on every single play. He's so good. But hey, if that's what it is, so be it. She also said, those reports that if he signed, he was going to get a contract extension. They were going to rework it. And with that, it would have made it very tough to sign Hendrickson. So that report of, Hendrickson saying I expected to play with them, maybe not totally accurate.
Yeah, exactly. Quick break. We'll come back. We got the 2-minute warning with Tater and more. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 furnace install company for sailors because they know the value of a warm port. And they sing, there was a ship who fought the cold, who sailed the sea with a furnace load. She brought the heat to YEG and her name was Legacy. Through icy wind and winter squall, her fire she burned for one and all with a comfort chugging guarantee, and her name was Legacy. No payments, no! Yep, no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. Don't trust just any port in a winter storm. Trust Legacy Heating and Cooling.
A pizza from Papa John's is already pretty great, but you know what's even better? 2 pizzas from Papa John's. For a limited time, get a medium one-topping pizza for only $6 when you order any large specialty pizza at regular menu price. Whether you're feeding your family, your team, or yourself, get your next meal from your locally owned and operated Papa John's with a $6 one-top medium when you order any large specialty at regular menu price. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
Do you sit around at work listening to sports radio all day? That's right, my friend. There's no shame in it. It's the good life. And we're not here to snitch. Say, if your company advertised on Sports 1440, you could be the one listening for your company's ad every day. Now you've got an excuse to listen to Sports 1440 all day. It's part of the job. Sounds like someone's getting a promotion. Email Gregor at sports1440.ca. Let's get to work for you.
Well, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice. EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365. UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking. Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service. Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project. Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today. At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit FountainTire.com today.
What's some non-Nissan drivers here?
Soul-crushing flurries today with a low of making you cry.
What Nissan drivers here?
It's looking absolutely perfect out there.
Don't fear the forecast. Get an all-wheel drive Nissan Rogue and get up to $4,500 cash purchase bonus on select new 2026 Rogue models. Built, tested, and trusted to conquer Canada's harsh winters. Visit your local Nissan dealer today or Nissan.ca for details. Conditions apply.
Visit your local Edmonton and area Nissan dealer for more information.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork, made in Canada, made for Canada, where extreme isn't theoretical. Find your solution at cantork.com.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Set to wrap things up on a lovely Wednesday afternoon. Hope you had a wonderful day. It's light out, man. It's getting brighter all the time, a little bit longer. Oh, it's awesome. Once the melt comes, you're right around the corner. It's going to be the Masters. And then we're in the NHL playoffs. It's a good time, sports, man. NBA playoffs, Major League Baseball starts up. Got the NFL draft. You got the CFL draft. God, there's lots going on, man. You get to April and May. It's fun time. Fun times. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Gold ball jackpot, $44 million tonight. Get your tickets. PlayAlberta.ca. You got to tell about 8:30 tonight. So good luck. Just remember, if you win, you invite us to the party. One of us wins, we invite you. It's a fair deal. Pretty fair deal. Now let's get to the 2-minute warning. Brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where the rates never change. No overtime charges. Furnace conks out late at night. On the weekend, they'll come and help you. No extra charge. That's legacyheating.ca. Cam Tate, longtime journalist in town, has cerebral palsy. He's in a wheelchair, doesn't slow him down. And Cam's always wanted to be in radio. And now the wonders of technology allow Tater to be part of the show here with the 2-minute warning.
My sports editors, George Ward, Barry Westgate, Peter Collum, Bob Boehm, and Paul Cashman, would all order me into their office if they had heard yesterday's 2-minute warning. Sure they would. And they would shut the door and wave their favorite red felt marker. They're all red markers, aren't they? And give me what I deserve. Because guilty as charged, yesterday on this broadcast experience, I did it. I buried the lead. Now, for those of you who aren't up to date on newspaper lingo, burying the lead means the most important part of the story, considered to be, of course, the lead, is way, way down in the copy, like way down. Hence the phrase, bury the lead. But on further review, well, I really didn't bury the lead. I didn't have it in my copy yesterday. So my felt red marker pilots, how could I bury the lead? But you know what? I did. I took my 2 minutes and talked about the Canadian Para Ice. That's right, their barkeep, Ice, hockey team, and their 14-0 win over Japan, improving to 3-0 in Pool B to grab first place. And we had audio, real words of head coach Boris Rybalka. And that was 1 minute and 41 seconds. After the obligatory top and tail, introducing the piece, and then ending it, guess what? No more time left. Hear that there, Gregor? So here is what I left out. You tell me if I buried the lead. Canadians came within a few ice chips of giving up their first goal of the Paralympic Games by, are you sitting down? Scoring on themselves, which would have been, don't get up yet, their first goal against of the Paralympics. I am not making this up. In a scoreless game against Czechia, Canada pulled goaltender Corbin Watson for an extra attacker on a delayed penalty. Canadian captain Tyler McGregor deep in the right circle in the offensive zone and passed it back to the right point. But nobody was there. The puck zoomed down to the Canadian zone. Empty net, remember? It missed going in by inches. So, my friend, get the proverbial red felt marker out. Do you think I buried the lead? 2-minute warning, Gregor, Halley, Kruger. I'll bet Granddad Tate's homestead. You have a felt pen, red, of course. Me? Cam Tate. Sports, 1440.
There you go. Tater's been all over in this series. I quite like it. It's good. So we get an update every day on the pair team, and now they're getting into the medal round. Man, it'll be awesome, awesome stuff. The Montreal Canadiens on the board first. They lead 1-0 over the Senators. Nice power play goal. Lots of text to wrap up the show. Hey, Greg's, any update on Connor Clattenburg? No. Well, I talked to Connor when he was last in Edmonton, and he was hoping to be ready to go end of February, early March. And now he had a broken bone on his left hand, and basically, the ring finger, kind of go up the ring finger in his hand there. That's where it broke. He went to grab, kind of twisted, and that was the bone that broke. And so he thought he'd be ready by the end of February, early March. That hasn't been the case. He hasn't played a game yet since the 7th of January. But it's not like it's that long, because early March is still only March 11th. But they're obviously not going to rush it back. It's the last thing you want, come back, and guess what? It's not fully healed. It's not solved. Because think about it. He broke it in a fight, grabbing and twisting, not punching, grabbing and twisting. It was left hand on his right hand. So no, he is not playing, and we don't know when he'll be back. Hopefully sooner than later. Hey, guys, quick question. Didn't Bednar go nuts when a similar play happened to his goalie and it wasn't called like earlier this year? Well, on that play, good memory, Stu Barnes, it happened against St. Louis. Now, it was very different because it was on Scott Wedgwood, and it came from the other side of the net. So if you're watching last night, McKinnon came down the right side if he's attacking. So this is on the left side. And what had happened was there was a battle in front of the net, and the Colorado defender, the St. Louis guy, didn't rush in. He was kind of standing there. And then they got spun around, and he fell onto Wedgwood. Now, he got up. Wedgwood got up slowly. Play resumed. St. Louis scored. Bednar went nuts. And I get it. But his defenseman had touched the player when he went in. So if Bednar doesn't care if your goalie gets hurt because their guy pushed him in, then why did you care when your goalie got hurt by your defenseman spitting him in? See that? And I get it. We're human. If it benefits us, we like it. If it doesn't benefit us, we hate it. Right now, very different. I'm sure there's more anger because his best player got kicked out of the game. I'd have to go back and look. Something tells me that Colorado probably won that game against St. Louis, considering they barely lose games this year. But yes, that was good memory. That did happen earlier this season. So, hey guys, one of my favorite stats is Gretzky missed 5 400-point seasons, 200-point seasons by 4 points. It's crazy, from Corey B. Yeah, 215, 212, 208, 205, and then 196. Wow. And the thing is, the 208 season was actually his best if you go on points per game because he missed 6 games. He was actually on pace for 221 that year. He had 208 in 74 games. 74 games. Freaking kidding me? Like 208 points. Like Gretzky basically had, well, not basically, he did. He had 1,000 points in a 5-year span. 1,000. Actually, it's 1,200 because the 1 year he had 183. Think about how many guys even have 1,200 points all time in the NHL. Do you know how many have 1,200 points all time? How about 53? Well, 52 because we can't include Gretzky. In their careers, he did it in 6 seasons. Connor McDavid, by the way, 8 points shy of 1,200 points. He'll get there before the end of the month. And could get to a 20-game road streak. Point streak, that is, if he gets a point tomorrow night. Join LaFontaine, Gretzky, and Lemieux is the only guys to do that in the last 40 years. Not bad at all. But that is, like, there's some numbers of Gretzky's that are just ridiculous. And that run for Gretzky was, well, that'll never be matched. Ever. That 8-year run was absolutely wild. Wild, I tell you. So, he had 1,219 points in 473 games. He had 437 goals. Was plus 459. Now, he had 1,219. The next closest player had 698 in a 6-season span. Don't ever tell me that the 80, it was easy to score. No, it was easy for Gretzky to score. Not a lot of other guys, but Gretzky, really good. On behalf of Connor Halley, I'm Jason Gregor. Have yourselves a wonderful Wednesday. Tomorrow, the Oilers and the Dallas Stars. Should be a hell of a game. Of that and much, much more on the show. Let's get to the Con Man Sports 1440 update brought to you by Go Auto. Proudly partnered with Connor McDavid for the last decade. And they love donating in the community, where they've donated more than $27.2 million to local charities. Let's go auto.ca. Good night.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Light night, just 2 games on the ice in the NHL. Midway through the first, Canadians up on the Sens 1-0, while the Caps and Flyers are scoreless off the ice. Utah signing Nick Schmaltz to a contract extension, 8 years worth $64 million. Schmaltz 30 is second on the team in scoring with 59 points in 64 games. In the association,